Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is our Best of 2023 event, where we are showcasing some of the best speed games of 2023, or games in general. We are ending it out with Alan Wake 2. I'll hand it over, let the runner introduce themselves.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My mic was muted. Okay, sorry. I guess I have to do that again. Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Havu Camus. You can call me Camus. I will be running Alan Wake 2 today for you. Alan Wake 2 is a wonderful game. I came into this year thinking that, Baldur's Gate 3 would have been the game of the year for me, but after playing Alan Wake 2, Alan Wake 2 is definitely game of the year for me. You do not need to have played Alan Wake 1 to understand what's going on in Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 actually did win 3 awards. It won Best Narrative, it won Best Art Direction, and Best Game Direction. So I'm super proud and super happy to show this speedrun off to you today. It's on sale right now in Epic Game Store. If you want to play it, do not worry about spoilers during the speedrun. The speedrun covers maybe 20% of the narrative, albeit it's like a really important 20%. I'll be solo commenting today. Church, feel free to ask questions as I go along. Chat, also feel free to ask questions. I will see if any are worth answering. And happy holidays. So without any further ado, the timer will begin when I select the difficulty in 3, 2, 1.
Back to the beginning.
So we start the game off as Danny DeVito, and we're going to be pretty much just doing a whole slow crawl. It's a tutorial, it sets up the story. But Danny DeVito is actually currently playing an FBI agent named Nightingale. Nightingale was in the first game, and he kind of got taken into the Shadow World. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Alan Wake lore, there's the real world, and then there's the Shadow World. And the Shadow World is created by Alan Wake himself. It's his writing. So Alan Wake is a horror writer, and Alan Wake 1 and 2, well, Alan Wake 1 is pretty much his horror creations come to life. So for Alan Wake 2, we wake up as FBI agent Nightingale. He has no idea where he is, and we're just holding forward and hopefully trying to get to the end. This game has a lot of jump scares. It is very scary if you've never seen this game or played this game before, so word of caution there. But for me, it's just on autopilot, I don't... if you speedrun any game, I don't think you get surprised by anything. But yeah, so... plot-wise, since Alan Wake 1 was created in 2010, Alan Wake 2 takes place in 2023, the same year it was made, which is kind of a cool little meta thing Remedy does. Yeah. Other games Remedy has made are Max Payne and Control. This is all in the same universe, so you will actually see references to Control. You'll see characters from Control and whatnot. But finally, Nightingale is allowed to run, and we're going to be running in the game. Let's see what happens.
So that's why you asked me if I'd played Control or Max Payne. That's actually really cool. I guess I have to add those higher up to my list of games to play.
I would say Control is the one out-of-series game you should play, and because they do reference the Bureau of Control and just a lot of cool things regarding that. So.
Okay. Yeah, Control has been on my list for, how long's that game been out? At least, like, half that time it's been on my list, so I'll get to it eventually.
So this is actually the tutorial. We actually are allowed to run further through the level, but that is the first place we can die, and we actually do want to die because that is kind of forced. So now we're going to be introduced to our main heroine of the game, Saga Anderson, a brilliant up-and-coming FBI agent, and we're about to explore a murder mystery happening down at Cauldron Lake.
Over here. Hey there.
Agent Casey, right?
This game offers dialogue options that we're allowed to skip. We're going to pick only the crucial dialogue options that we can. Obviously, for the story, you can interact with other
I'll be leading this
dialogues, which
Seems you
opens up
already know
different
my partner,
areas,
Alex
secret
Casey.
things, secret puzzles, and whatnot.
Were there any witnesses?
But luckily, we could skip the dialogue
Yeah.
once the other
Glad
person
encounters.
starts talking.
I want to see
So,
the body. How do we get there?
Oh, sure,
otherwise, the
that's
speedrun
really
would probably be 5 hours if we weren't allowed to skip dialogue. So, as a general reminder, this game did win Best Narrative. So, story is really good.
Before we
Please
reach the
do not
crime
skip
scene, there's time to
anything
review the facts
if you
of the
play this
case so
casually for the
far.
first time.
Make sure I'm seeing the clues clearly. I'll be back in a second.
Roger.
Hey, Casey.
So, how
You're
this
putting me in
game
charge.
kind of develops as
Why
a
now?
campaign is
Anderson.
Saga, the character I'm playing right now, and Alan Wake have three sections each, and then it's the finale. So how the order of the speedrun goes is we're going to do Saga 1, Alan 1, which are kind of tutorial sections, and then we're going to do Saga 2 and 3, and then we're going to do Alan 2 and 3, and then we're going to do the finale.
Nature.
You have to actually beat everyone's campaign before you can get to the finale. So when you play this casually, I would
Not a
obviously
bad place
recommend
to
you
get
do
murdered.
Saga 1, Alan 1, Saga 2, Alan 2, Saga 3, Alan 3, because there's a lot of linkage in the story.
Damn.
The Shadow World is connected
Should've brought an
to
umbrella.
the real
I
world.
like the rain. The only
It's very
thing
similar
I
to
need
the
is
Upside
like
Down in Stranger
think the
Things, if
local law had the
any of you are
sense to put up
familiar
a
with
tarp?
that.
If they did, next coffee's on me.
But we're going to investigate the body after talking to the local
Deputy
enforcement.
Thornton.
This guy's
I
excited to
figured.
see us. We're going to ignore him and force him into a forced walking section. We're going to do a quick loot while we're doing that, because it does take some time. He was super excited to greet us, but we're just ignoring him. Get Donowald.
Wonder what's inside.
So we're going to do something here.
I should take
This
a
game
look
has a very
before we
new,
open this
very
thing.
new mechanic that's not in other games. It's called Mind Room. It's, if you've ever seen a beautiful, what's it called? A Beautiful Mind, where the guy kind of pieces the clues together. You have to do that as Saga to open up new elements of the story. So Remedy likes to call it 3D
The fact that the
menuing,
body
which
is positioned
that
on
pretty
the
much is.
table.
It's best to just show you what it is.
Ritualistic.
In the speedrun, we just do what is minimum to progress the story, because obviously we don't want
Another body
people
turns
to
up
talk
just as
longer.
we
So.
arrive.
So there are three
The
clues.
killer left the heart
The
next to
intro
the body.
chapter for
Inside stab
Saga
wound.
kind of forces
Chest
you to
cut open.
explore everything, so you have an idea of
Bruising
how
on
the
wrist
game
from the
goes.
cargo straps
But I'm
holding
gonna
him
just
down.
finish my board up in my head. So this whole thing is in her head. She's just a super brilliant detective.
Heart
So
removed from chest, strapped by the large amount of blood on the table. The victim died here. Who is our victim?
So in any other part of the
killed him?
level, we don't actually have to explore all the clues. But like I
Let's find
said,
the
just
clues.
because this is a new
Multiple
mechanic,
people were
they
here.
just kind of want you to
Multiple
explore
killers.
everything here
Any idea
before
who
you
the
can progress the
victim is?
level.
Oh, I sure do. His name is...
So you knew our victim.
Well, I didn't reckon.
I'm moving it closer to the card so I don't have to drag as far, which is obviously a little kind of
Robert
microseconds,
Nightingale,
milliseconds time save,
ex-FBI,
as opposed to
blueprints
dragging it all the way
indicating
across my
multiple
screen.
killers.
Like, you know, if it was right
Quite
there,
the
I wouldn't
parade.
want to drag it like, oh, like that. So I just kind of just zoom in and do it right there like that.
They planned for the murder.
We're going to be introduced to another mechanic of the game, which is profiling. She can actually talk to people in her head, and they give her serious answers. We don't know why she can do it, but she can talk to
Agent Nightingale. is
anyone,
MIA.
dead people, alive people, even if they're across the world. So she's a brilliant
The
detective
lake is
and
connected
narrative.
to
So
Nightingale somehow.
there's a reason why she
Casey,
can, but we'll get to that
Let's take
later.
a look down by the lake. Lead the way.
Sounds good. This way, right?
Right.
Do you still have to put the puzzle correctly together? Yes, you do.
This one of
But
your
for the
eyes
speed run, we're going to
Anderson.
do the exact essential clues that we need that
I think
trigger the next
Nightingale
things.
came up from that direction.
So
From
in
the
terms
lake.
of total mind room stuff,
Probably
it's
looking for
maybe
shelter.
5%
Safety.
of what a casual playthrough would look
They were
like.
waiting for him.
When you're ready, I'd love to hear what you put together so far.
Sure. It's not that complicated. There's a piece of paper on the ground.
I didn't.
Did you get lost, Anderson?
I did not
Someone's
get
been
lost.
watching us.
Extremely rude.
Plain sick. game with us.
Fun fact, if you didn't realize it by now, Sam
This is
Lake,
right up
the
my alley.
creative director
Nightingale
for
came
Remedy,
this way.
is actually plays a
drop
lot of
this
the characters
page.
in Remedy games, but he is
Where the
also
killers
playing
left it for us.
my Agent Casey, my
I should
partner.
profile Nightingale about this page.
He's voiced by a different actor who recently passed, so condolences to his family. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this man to talk, and we're allowed to skip dialogue by actually doing mind room stuff, which we can utilize.
I think he came from the lake. But his tracks make no sense. We found a page in the woods. Found all I can here.
So that is a full mind board.
something's been
Luckily,
on
we won't have
inside
to do
Nightingale's
full mind
body.
boards or
Let's
mind
tell the
room,
deputies to get the body
mind
to the town
boards
morgue.
again.
Okay.
Deputy, I want the body taken back to town for a proper examination ASAP.
Well, sure.
The first the first saga and the first Alan sections are a bit slow, obviously, because they kind of play as tutorial. They want you to get used to the game mechanics. So I did read a lot of complaints that the game starts off slow, first maybe casual 3-4 hours,
Let's
but
get in the
like I
car,
said, you get
drive to
past
Bright
this,
Falls,
this game
and
is
talk to
actually
these
so
witnesses,
good.
The Bookers.
The diner, right? I could use a cup of coffee.
Let's try
And
that
I mean, there's
shortcut
definitely
deputy
games that have
mentioned.
longer tutorial.
Seems like
Absolutely.
A nice town
Oh,
so
yeah.
far. Murders aside.
This is not a bad tutorial, but the fact that there's no combat for
You
maybe the
love we got
first
set up
15,
then?
20 minutes is, you know.
We should go for a hike.
I
if we
mean,
get
that's
a
most
chance.
horror games, right? They just kind of set you up with the narrative at that point.
Deputies aren't exactly up to the task,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
hopefully the sheriff will be more helpful.
Especially on like full length like AAA titles, you can't really just like push your player
Can't fit
into
the
combat
clues
like that in the
altogether
first
yet.
couple of minutes.
Heart removed.
Yeah, it's like when they keep remaking
Tripod.
Spider-Man, right?
Tracks
They're just like,
leading to a
should we
dead
keep doing
end.
the Uncle Ben story? And then people are just like, please, we all know the Uncle Ben story. Stop doing the Uncle Ben like narrative, you know? So,
And why
We've
take
seen
out
it
his
so
heart
many
just to throw
times.
it away?
yep.
To stuff in something for us to find.
Here we are. Let's try.
So we're gonna drive back to town, check out the coroner's body. Because it turns out Nightingale is missing his heart. And what we didn't see in the intro cutscene that I skipped is that the cultists that kill you in the beginning actually take your heart out. Which I'm sure all of you wanted to see. But, you know. I can't do that.
Let me guess. The FBI.
For all the coffee
Welcome to
enjoyers.
Bright Falls. It's nice to have you here. I got you both some coffee. Oh, it's Washington's finest.
Nice to meet you, Sheriff. I'm
Yeah,
set for
exactly.
coffee.
It's kind of like how in
I
every
wouldn't say
Batman
no to
movie
another.
they show us the parents die, and
Your
it's like,
deputy
yes,
said
we
you had
get
multiple
it,
witnesses
we
here.
know.
They made them sound like suspects.
Yeah, pretty much. I wonder if anyone's seen
Excuse me.
one of those later like remake
I'm
movies and
Agent
they're just
Saga
like,
Anderson.
what made him
Are
Batman?
you the
What
Bookers?
made him Spider-Man?
That's
You know?
us.
They're
I'm
just like,
Tammy.
this narrative sucks.
So what did you see in the woods?
This naked dude came out of.
What makes you say it was a cult?
So Saga points out how brilliant of a detective she is. They don't say anything about what they found, but we're able to just mentally interview them.
Cult of the
Just
tree.
she's Sherlock Holmesing them. So pretty much after you do these first 2 interviews, she's
you
just like,
found
wait,
something,
I know you found something. I know you're hiding
necklace
something. And
these
they're just
cultists
like,
may have dropped.
whoa.
Okay. Wow.
Now this is where the gaslighting or this narrative kind of takes place. The waitress comes out and tells us that we've been here
You
before
guys have Nightingale at the morgue.
and that she's sorry for our daughter's
Let's
death.
go.
When in fact in the beginning of the
see,
game,
I
we
got a
talked
lead.
to our daughter on Logan on the
Looks like we're
phone.
dealing with a cult.
So there's a little bit of
Cult of the
something
tree.
going on, but we don't know what yet, right? The story is starting to ravel.
Hey, Agent Anderson. We're just waiting for Sheriff Breaker before we head in.
Hey, thanks for all the nice weather.
What are you talking about, Thornton?
You know, like, it was raining a lot. And now it's not, because Agent Anderson is here with all that good weather she brought with her.
So this is Thornton and Mulligan. They're kind of the comedic relief pair of this game. That's Thornton right here. That's Mulligan right there. Mulligan's the one who always says silly things, and Thornton's just like, Mulligan. Or, yeah. It's very funny. We have to wait for the sheriff, because obviously they will not open up the police station without their boss being here. We just kind of chill. We do a little bit of inventory. We hotkey our items that we need.
Yep,
While
in
we're
the
waiting.
morgue, all prepped.
I'd like to take a closer look as soon as possible. Lead the way, Sheriff.
Hey. Agent?
Well, this is the Bright Falls Sheriff Station. Anything you need, just let us know.
We appreciate the support, Sheriff.
So not a lot going on here. What we're going to do is we're going to investigate Nightingale's body in the coroner's office.
So we share a morgue with
Yeah,
the
narrative-wise,
funeral
nothing
home,
bad
so
could
it's
possibly
super
happen,
budget.
right? We're just exploring the
I
dead
guess you
body.
guys don't
We're
have
going to do a couple mind
Our
play
only
stuff
coroner
and
rotates between a few other towns, and he's away this week. But
just
you
start
can
the
handle
story
this,
a little
right?
bit.
I'm qualified to perform examinations. Yes.
While he's walking, we're going to do some inventory looting right here. Hopefully we get some ammo drops. All the drops in this game are random. Exactly. There's nothing in here.
I can't say I feel the same.
This
He's
game
joking.
sucks. No.
Okay. Let's take a look at our patient.
All right, we're going to do some mind room stuff with the new case, the
I'll give you a
examination
minute,
of
buddy.
Robert Nightingale.
What was the cause of death? There's writing here. The body showed signs of being...
I go to the mind room and back because otherwise we'd normally have to wait to the dialogue, but if you just mind room quick enough, you're able to just investigate the next thing.
Chest wound.
So there's a Nightingale. So we're going to actually open his chest now after this cutscene and try to find out what the deal is. How is he moving without anything? But then things escalate. Nightingale comes to life and he kills everyone. So, you know, it's a little bit of a turn. We're going to have to wait here because he actually one-shot kills us. We go too early. So.
He can't see me in the light. My gun's out in the hall. Gotta get it back.
That is the end of the saga intro.
He didn't have a heart.
Saga was back at Cauldron Lake. Saga had to pursue
No, he
Nightingale
did kill everyone.
into the overlap.
He just comes
Finding a
alive.
way in would be difficult.
Teleports.
Saga
Yeah.
would learn how.
People die.
Stop the monster.
So over the course of the
There's
game,
no
we're gonna
rational
find
explanation for
pages
what we just saw.
of Alan Wake's new novel that kind of progress the story and give Saga a clue of what's going on. So, and we're gonna use those to figure out what's happening with the story.
The page places Nightingale back at Cauldron Lake. Calls him a Taken. We need to head over there, stop him, before anyone else gets hurt.
Here's a very fun narrative flaw.
We heard gunshots. Y'all okay?
So imagine
Did you
you
get spooked
two,
by the bombs?
you guys are these two
Sheriff Baker
cops.
disappeared.
Every one of your
Nightingale turned
coworkers are
into some sort
dead,
of a monster
and the
and
only
our
two
office is
people,
down.
the only
You
two
two
foreign
handle things
people
here. We
to
need to
your
get back to
office
Cauldron Lake
are alive,
immediately.
and they just say, "Oh man, they just your sergeant, your sheriff disappeared, and they all died," and then they're just like, "Oh man, that's terrible. Yeah, go free. We won't ask you any questions."
Yeah.
That was the one narrative flaw. I just
Seems legit to me.
what was that?
Fine pair.
Seems legit to me.
Yeah, seems
who else
legit.
could
It's
it
like,
have
yeah,
been? Can't be you.
yeah,
Nightingale
absolutely.
and his cult are dangerous. We need to be prepared in case
Can't
things
be you.
escalate more than they already have. Can you call
There
it
is a
in?
reason for it later,
Smart
but
choice, Anderson.
I will not spoil that for now. So.
Yeah, Agent
You're
Casey
not gonna
here.
believe this, but this dead man came to life, killed everyone, and left us alone. The only two foreign agents to your office. Oh man, that sucks. Here you go.
Think we'll actually find the lake?
So we're gonna go head back to Cauldron Lake 1. We're gonna have to find something called the Overlap, and that is kind of the entrance to the Shadow World.
Come clean.
And what we're gonna do as Saga is pretty much every location we go, we have to find what opens the Overlap, and we're gonna have to fight bosses there. So
The page says Nightingale's in something called an overlap.
Thank you,
Need to
Saga.
figure out exactly what that means.
I'm happy I'm not in charge of this mess.
Thanks. Let's start looking for Nightingale where he was killed.
By the way, Casey contributes
The writer of
absolutely
these
nothing in
pages
terms
knows
of
what will
combat.
happen. Because they're behind this.
Also, cool little
Because they
tech
can
I
see
did
what's
right there.
Impossible
Normally
things are
you'd have to
happening here.
interact with the ledge to jump
world
off of it, but if you
operating on
just
different
dodge
rules.
off certain ledges, you just skip
I need
the
to
whole
understand
animation
the
of just like
strange
kind of
logic.
jumping off the ledge.
To
So
see the
small
clues.
optimizations.
To solve the case.
Right there, we're gonna run past them, but it
A lot of
is.
things about this case keep bothering me.
I can't remember their names because
But
I
one
talked to
thing
them
feels
once in the
really
game.
off.
But pretty much,
Breaker's
there's a
disappearance.
satellite up there that is used by the Federal Bureau of
I don't get the
Control
feeling Nightingale
to
was
moderate
responsible.
supernatural activities. So, fun little Easter egg to control there.
Pages. Something didn't want us to have them? Or was...
The worst part of this level actually is Cauldron Lake changes every time you come down here.
Not the kind of
So if you're learning the run, or especially if you're playing on a casual playthrough, you will get lost. So, and I have to mention, a lot of this game, I will be skipping a lot of enemies, running past enemies,
No
because
sign of Nightingale.
enemies usually spawn
But the
on an
page
RNG
did
timer
place
as
in the
well.
Cauldron Lake, in an overlap. So how do we
But
find
obviously, because I know the way, I don't have to really deal
I
with
can
the
feel
RNG
something.
enemy that come out.
the presence? Nightingale isn't far.
So we're going to be introduced to a new game mechanic, the Intense Flashlight. If you played Alan Wake 1, the only way to kill enemies is if you reveal them with your flashlight. Not just shining a light on them, but you have to intense flashlight them
Inside, a
for a
bright
couple
light.
of seconds before you can
There were
shoot.
objects that stood out to Saga, as if the light had manifested them.
The witch's hut. Okay. I trust the page.
So for the first enemy we're going to counter, I'm going to show you what normal combat looks like. But for the future, so the shadow veil the enemies have kind of encompasses their whole body. If you just try to shoot an enemy in the head,
I need to figure
as you
out
would
where
in any
Nightingale
horror game,
went.
the bullet just goes right through them because you have to reveal them. But I don't know if it's intentional or not. The feet
This
of
is the
all
witch's
enemies do not have a shadow veil. So it's very counterintuitive if you're used to shooter games, but we're going to have to shoot
Okay.
them in the feet or
I
leg.
found
So,
another page.
without having to waste our
looks
flashlight
good.
charges.
That's
People should really stop littering.
that's
though.
really interesting.
Yep. We're gonna skip up most pickup animations by dodging at the same time we pick up. Otherwise, she does this whole looks into her hand. There's a slow 5 seconds. Huh? What is this?
Another page.
But if you dodge at the
With
same
the
time you
image of the
interact,
witch in the
she just
sign,
dodges as she grabs the item.
Saga addressed the witch. The smudge
How do you learn the
line
way
on
if it's
heart.
RNG? The way itself is not
second part
RNG.
was
The enemy
saved
spawns
from
are
memory.
RNG, and it gets worse the
brought you
longer
the
you
heart,
stay in an
witch.
area.
Show me the
So it's really
charm.
hard to practice certain skips
Saga pushed the heart through
because
the hole in the
suddenly
sign.
there are 5 enemies just spawning behind you, and you're just like, well, I don't have enough bullets. So here's our first enemy. I'm going to show you what normal combat would look like.
Occultist. A monster.
So we're going to pick up the shotgun here. Normally you have to explore the store, but we're cheating a little because we played this game before, and I have a cheat sheet open with my notes on it. So the password is 739. Immersion completely ruined. We're going to have to mind room to figure out where the heart is. Spoilers, isn't that freezer I was looking at. But I do mind room. I do the mind board at the last minute possible so I can, you know, just pick up the
from
heart.
The witch's hut seems to be described.
What is the ritual?
Nightingale's heart disappeared from the moor.
So where's the heart, Nightingale?
Where is it now? I need
And he's going to
Nightingale's
tell us
heart
because
to
we
match the
interview him in our
overlap.
mental process because, you know, we're
Nightingale's heart.
freaking Sherlock Holmes and all
Where?
that. So anyway, the heart spawns right here.
I feel like I recognize this.
So we're going to need to feed the heart to
And
the
now I need
witch
to give
to
the
get
heart
into
to
the
witch.
overlap.
Makes total sense.
What does that mean? Yeah, Saga, it does make total
Casey,
sense.
there are cultists in the area. They're taken, like Nightingale. Watch yourself out there.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up. I'm still finding my way back.
You have the worst sense of direction.
Any city
Yes,
I've
the
ever
shadows do
been,
have an
drunk,
Achilles heel. That's
blindfolded,
actually pretty clever.
damn trees.
That's funny.
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty
I'm en
clever.
route to Witch's Ladle.
We're gonna blind this shadow for the first time because if you don't, he insta-grabs you, and getting grabbed is slow. We don't actually have to fight him. There's a picture of a witch right here. We shove the heart through. That opens up the portal to the overlap. Jump scare coming up. Actually, that wasn't that bad.
I think I'm in the overlap. Are you still on your way?
So now we're in the overlap. We're going to be kind of just doing a little bit of walking, kind of bit in immersion, kind of scary stuff.
Logan?
So what you're going to find out through this run and the rest of the game is... The game is trying to gaslight you. The whole overlap is a maze.
What the fuck was that?
You guys ever play those games where you run through the same sequence until you do something right? That's what all of the overlap is. The first overlap is very simple. You just have to run forward. But other overlaps, you got to take certain paths, certain doors. New paths open and similar. We're gonna dodge off the sledge just to show you guys some time save.
This place is looping. Like a nightmare.
So any runner will tell you the top 3 worst parts of this run is this boss, the Nightingale boss fight. So Nightingale actually has 3 phases. And the first phase is he just runs at you with a giant tree stump. You just fight him normal. The second phase, he hurls a giant death tornado at you, which you can't harm him during that time. And stage 3, he hides around the arena, tries to kill you and whatnot. And it takes about maybe 5 minutes longer than the speedrun. So what we're going to do for the speedrun, and what makes it so difficult, is we're going to have to run to a certain spot before we trigger his second phase. And we cannot leave that spot. And him getting stunned and not attacking you is a bit of RNG. So there's a very small possibility we could die here. But no matter what, we cannot leave the spot we are standing on. I don't care if Nightingale starts vomiting on us. I don't care if he hunks a tree chunk at us. I will stand in that spot. Because otherwise, I lose 5 minutes. And I'd rather lose half my HP than 5 minutes. So a little bit of praise. That damages him a little. We're gonna have to stand at this spot right here. He's gonna teleport to us. And hopefully we don't get grabbed. Okay, Mr. Sir. I gotta reload just casually in front of him. This is terrifying, but we should be good. And that is the Nightingale Foss. That's a little unfortunate. We didn't get a crit on any of those shotgun shells. I had to use one more shotgun shell than necessary. But the good news is he didn't do his grab attack, which kind of, he chokes you out, and there's a whole spam F to release yourself, and it loses about like 6-7 seconds each time you get grabbed. So.
Working, and then that flooding just...
By the way, because we're in the overlap and we kill Nightingale, we pulled somebody out of the overlap. Guess who it is, guys?
Ooh, I think it is.
Casey, say hello to Alan Wake. Mr. Wake, this is Special Agent Alex Casey. He'll escort you to our car. Casey, I'll meet you there right after I take a look.
The rider who's been missing for 13
years. If the floodings receded,
years.
there might be evidence we missed earlier.
Okay. See you there.
Should look around. With the flooding gone.
This game is really meta.
Out there.
Oh, okay.
The flooding disappeared very suddenly.
This game is really meta.
Interesting.
Alan Wake in this game also wrote about a character named Alex Casey. But there's also an FBI agent named Alex Casey who's also played by Sam Lake, who looks like Max Payne. So, yeah.
A locked box.
Bit of an RNG puzzle, it's just Simon Says.
Symbol on it?
You just have to kind of pray for inputs, that's kind of good.
Notes and ammo. Looks like
We actually do need to go out of the way for that because it gives us an explosive. We're going to use the explosives on future bosses because some of the bosses do get harder, but by picking up the explosives, we are able to phase them. And I'll kind of explain when we do get to them. So that's the end of Saga 1. We're kind of just heading back to the car right now, and then we're going to start Alan Wake 1. So Alan's story is not concurrent. They're at different times. It's not, how do you say, it's not chronological. Because we pulled Alan out of out of the overlap right now. The next chapter is going to be what Alan did before the overlap. Oh, by the way, on top of shadows, there are wolves as well, so... Luckily, we didn't get the two wolf spawn. The two wolf spawn is pretty bad RNG, but... We just gotta listen to an audio cue to dodge when they kind of jump at us. Yeah. But yeah, Alan's story kind of takes place in a completely different setting. He is in a fictional version of New York City, and he's going to be doing a bunch of stuff, but I'll explain kind of each place as we get to it. So. But for now, that's the end of the Saga section. It's always funny to see in speedruns, like how fast things are, because I think in the casual playthrough, you'd be at about 2-3 hours right now, because you're exploring things, you're getting new weapons, you're solving things, you're picking up lore. But that was under, what, 20 minutes, 25 minutes now? So the alarm is actually going off on the satellite for Control. So you actually do see that at the end of Control's DLC, that they kind of teased Alan Wake 2 with. They were just like, wait, something's going on at Cauldron Lake, and it teases Alan Wake 2. And that's the satellite that actually links the stories together. So in the cutscene here, we're going to take Alan Wake back to the lodge where we're staying at and just start interviewing him. But before that, we're going to do Alan's section.
Mr. Wake, we're taking you back to our field office in Bright Falls. You can freshen up there, and then we'll talk properly.
So the reason why we don't do Alan 1 Saga 1, Alan 1 Saga 2, like in the correct chronological order, is because you have to deal with this loading screen each time, and that loses time. So we just do all of Saga's and then all of Alan's. But anyway, this is Alan's.
Was I on a talk show tonight? Waking up in places with no memory of how I'd gotten there. It was out of control. I didn't need another mugshot in the fucking tabloids.
So yes, you should play Alan Wake 1 into Control into Alan Wake 2 for the minimum of the story. Max Payne is kind of like a very fun Easter egg to this. So. That's Warland Dorr, who was actually supposed to, I believe, was supposed to be played by Lance Reddick. But then obviously Lance passed away, I think, last year, so he wasn't able to be the character for this. So chat, I'm gonna need your help. And Church, I'm gonna need your help as well. I'm really bad at remembering puzzles. And the passcode is a 3-digit number up here. The code is the neighbor of the beast. So I do recall it being 665. So chat, I'm gonna need your help to remember 665. It'll come up later. Like, trust me. Church, what was the number again?
This written down for you.
There was something in
It
the
was
studio with me.
665.
Okay, thank you.
I had to get out.
So this is Alan's version of Saga's mind room. It's called Alan's Rider Room. And he can do the same thing Saga can do. So, you know, everyone's got their own little mental Sherlock Holmes thing, but... Huh. Strange. Like I said, the overlap, you will loop every time. And you have to do the correct thing. So.
For you here tonight, a real treat to all you Alex Casey fans out there. Alex Casey himself is here tonight. That's right. Sam Lake, ladies and gentlemen. The actor who has given his face to the famous detective in the film series. And of course, we have Alan Wake here. Best-selling writer, the books, the films, all based on. Let's do this!
That is an audio bug. Which is funny. Only the newest patch brought that audio log. Or audio bug. So here we are again. Chat, what's the password? Church, what's the password?
This nightmare again.
665.
Chat, I need you to confirm if it's 665.
I needed to get the hell out of this building. Alive this time. I had to find my way home to
You guys are actually wrong. It's 565. Like I said, this game is all about gaslighting you. You have to explore it each time. You have to explore each loop and get the right puzzle number each time. So
So I'm pretty sure somebody was trying to troll us and actually got pretty close. They went
Yeah.
556.
Yeah. Fun character. We get to meet Audie. He's kind of an omniscient character in control. He's kind of there just to like guide us along the way. He'll be here to guide us. We're gonna go this far, skip his dialogue, and then go back to talk to him. So you're just like my ex. Oh no.
I can't seem to find my way out of here. Can you point me to the exit? What do you want me to get from the basement?
So Remedy creators are Finnish, and thus people in control and Audie in particular speak Finnish. I do have a fellow friend and Finnish speedrunner. His name's Trey, and I asked him, how is the Finnish in this game? And he told me that the Finnish is very rural, very country style. So I said, yeah, that makes sense for an older janitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, sounds about right.
Yeah. Audie is not the bad guy, I promise you. He's just the omniscient kind of guy that puts you along the way. Small optimization, there's a bit of dialogue here. These chairs get in the freaking way. I'm moving them so they don't. I've lost 5 seconds because my model collided with the chair and I couldn't move for 5 seconds once. And ever since then, I just pre-moved the chairs.
Like something in a dream.
A new mechanic of the game, we're gonna have to turn off a light on and off. It changes the scenery, so get used to it. If you do it on a casual playthrough, I promise that you will be stuck there for 20 minutes because you don't know what to do. I make it look very easy, but because I wasted 100 hours playing this game over and over again. Same for here, there's no way out. We're gonna turn on the light, bam, cutscene. And that's the end of Alan 1. So here's New York. We're gonna explore all these buildings eventually. They're all different levels.
Somehow I knew the call was for me.
So we're gonna have to talk to the telephone. A character is kind of just telling us what to do. He's just telling us, hey, you gotta, Alan, go do this, go do that.
The man had said Caldera Street Station. I had to go there.
So Alan 1 is called the Subway. We're gonna be introduced to a lot of new different game mechanics here. But first we need to find a weapon. Which is always a nice thing in most horror video games. You know there aren't going to be any enemies if they don't give you any weapons, so... Okay.
Casey! Damn it.
Okay, so here's a very important part of the game, especially Alan's sections. You're going to see shadow figures. Those are the taken, but in the overlap. Some shadows are fake. They all have dialogue, and all of them will approach menacingly at you. 50% of them, sometimes random, are real. So you don't want to get hit by those, or, take damage from them. How do you know which one's real? You gotta shine a flashlight on them without taking damage. You gotta shine a flashlight on them. If they're fake, congrats, you just wasted a flashlight. It just disappears. If they're real, the enemy will be revealed, so... Right here is a little bit of a gamble right here. We're going to be introduced to our first round of enemies, a bit of RNG here.
Picking up Casey's gun felt like I was
a pretty good sign is if they do like dashing attacks towards you, then they're like real. But those ghosts were just kind of chilling. So I think there's a forced one right here. You kind of see what makes him obviously a real enemy. Yeah. So, watch your language, Ellen. So on a casual playthrough, there's so much paranoia. I was kind of terrified, like just paranoid about. I was like inching towards a shadow, and I would just be like, "You real, bud?" And then whatnot. So I would splash. I'm like, this guy has to be. This guy. There's a guy standing in the middle of the hall. This guy has to be real. I flashlight on him. Nope, he's fake. There are 10 enemies. I'm like, oh, maybe 5 of these are fake. Nope, all 10 of them are real, and you're just like, oh crap. So. We're gonna be doing our first skip of the game. A lot of these out of bounds were found 2 weeks ago. This speedrun is very new, so we're finding new stuff about it every day. But the tech is we're gonna interact with the ladder, but we're gonna melee at a distance before we're able to interact with the ladder. And it'll kind of displace our model. So normally you'd have to run through a whole section here, but I'm gonna climb this sign, which we really don't have to in the casual playthrough. and it puts our model, and we start sinking, and we skip the fence where we have to go. And the only way to move while you're falling is through dodging, so that's why I'm just dodging. If you don't move, you just fall faster. So
I needed to find a way around that fence.
So we need 2 light sources to enter the subway. So we're gonna take back our 2 charges. It's shown at the bottom right. You see those 2 circles with light bulbs on them.
There, but the entrance was missing. I had to make it appear. Maybe I could use the lamp.
So the subway is down there, but because it is New York City, I am terrified of New York City subways. Not in the game. I am just terrified of New York subways. There are rats. You could get mugged. Anything could happen to you down there. So what we're gonna do is run away from the subway. Why are we doing this? I'll show you momentarily. For the first out of bounds of the game, and it's probably the second worst out of bounds in the game. Well, I'll explain it. I can give it might take 2 or 3 tries for this out of bounds. Appreciate your guys' patience. It is not my fault. It is a hardware-based load. So, like most good runners, I'm gonna make a safety save. So, by interacting with the ladder at a certain way, we're actually able to interact with different textures. And by grabbing the ladder from far away here, we're actually able to go into the building. And we're able to do our first out of bounds here. So. You kind of see that trapezoid with a rectangle thing that I'm kind of looking at? That is not the floor. Everything else is the floor, so it's a little deceiving. The lighter textures are the ones that are floors, so. But the problem is, we need to sync. You know what I mean? I told you guys if we're moving, we don't sync. And if we sync, we fall down faster. We have to do a combination of that at the perfect timing. Otherwise, the level loads, and we're just on top of the level, and then you're screwed. And you would probably reset the run if you were on world record pace or if you're trying to go for world record. Right here, we're gonna hopefully this level doesn't load as we kind of sink down here. Unfortunate, we'll have to try that again. Suffering from success. That is, yeah. Fun story, actually tied to this. I actually went to Micro Center because my motherboard actually the other day kind of fried itself. So I said, these loads are loading in too quick for me. So I actually have an i9 processor right now. So I looked at the guy, and the guy was like, okay, so I'm going to replace your motherboard. And I said, okay. Anything else you want me to do? And I said, can you put an i7 in this? And the guy looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. For those of you who don't know, an i9 is much better than an i7. That's like getting a Ferrari and asking to get changed into like, I don't know, like a Tesla Roadster or something. He looked at me and says, you do know the i9 is better than the i7. I said, it's very hard to explain. I need a worse processor for this game. But
that is the first and last time that person will ever hear that request.
Well, it's actually kind of funny because I did it 3 days ago, and Micro Center at this time is actually. I actually need to focus. I'll continue the story. Hold up. This. Please don't load. Okay, perfect. Didn't load. We're able to sync. This wall looks like it's there. It's actually not. Okay. So anyway, the rest of the story. We're gonna have to hug the lefts because we do not want to fall to the right, and the ledge is actually incredibly thin. But I actually said, he's like, why do you need a slower processor? And I said, it's a long story. He's like, I can hear it. And I said, well, I'm speedrunning a game that requires slower loads based on like the hardware. And he's like, oh, that's understandable. And he was like, oh, do you know GDQ? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing a hotfix show on that. And then my queue was like 31, 32 to get my PC fixed. But then he was just like, you know what? Low key, I'll move you up. And I was just like, aight, bet.
Yo, shout outs to that person.
Shout out to that guy. This is all, You thought that was the bad hardware one? This is the worst one. We're gonna have to pray a bit. I don't like the signs for the first one that happened. But what we're gonna have to do is 6 dodges forward, 11 dodges left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I really need this level not to load. If your processor is too slow, it doesn't load. You sink under the level. Your processor's too fast, you stay on top of the level. So you see the thing here, and the load is different each time, which is why no one has come close to the sum of best on any percent of this game. Because the odds of you nailing every skip first try on this one, please. This is a long fall. I just need one thing to go right this run, please. Yeah, of course. Okay, so sorry about that. We're gonna have to do that whole bit again. But this still saves time regardless. Obviously, if you're going for world record, I would have reset my run. I would have gone on a mini rant about why this game sucks. Yeah.
If you don't break out into a mini rant about how bad a game is, do you really like the game?
That's the thing about speedrunning, right? We love it and we hate it. So yeah. This is the worst one. This skip, not all the out of bounds are going to be this bad. This is just the worst one because the level where we load is just so large. The wall is actually really high. But the other ones, the timing is a little bit more forgiving. So yeah. But it still saves time compared to the normal route, because normally you'd have to do the whole subway. You'd have to explore all these different rooms. You'd have to go through a bunch of jump scares. You'd have to see a bunch of burnt up bodies. Summoning rituals and whatnot. So. On a perfect run, a perfect glitchless run versus a perfect any percent run, this would save 6 minutes. Which is, please. My heart stops every time the level like kind of loads. Church.
I can imagine. Like, I've done stuff like this before. I know the pain you're... maybe not to this extent, but, like, I sympathize. I've had this before.
Yeah. Conceptually, the skips themselves are very easy. But it's not your call if they're easy or not. You just get them or you don't. So.
Yeah.
World record for
you
this
might
game...
get to do the inputs.
Yeah, world record for this game currently is like a 2:49, which is by me. But like I said, this run could be 2.5 hours if you nail stuff, so... Please! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna do a little sidestep here, so... I promise, chat, if this fails one more time, this is the worst out of bounds, like, actually. Like, the only out of bounds I was particularly worried about was this one for the run. And obviously the worst case situation has happened. I'm sorry. Happy holidays. I'm no hands. So. I swear to God.
No.
Right. Oh. Anyway, church, how's your holidays going?
Oh, they've been going all right. For the first time in ever, I actually have everything wrapped before 3 a.m. on the 25th. Because normally it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of Christmas already. I guess I need to wrap my presents before I go to bed. So there's that. It's actually not too cold out, so that's also nice. The weather is... There's no snow, which sucks, but it's also not negative... alright, what is this for Americans? It's not negative, like, 20 Celsius, which is probably, like, 20 Fahrenheit? Let me...
If I fail this one more time after the... I'll try it 2 more times, and then I'll just do the level normally, because at this point, I will assume my computer will not run any slower for whatever reason, so...
No, I was very far off. Normally it's -4 Fahrenheit about this time of year. It is not that right now. It is much warmer, so, you know, it's going alright. What about you? How's your holiday season going?
Holidays is pretty good. I'm currently in the southern part of the U.S., so it's a little bit warmer. It's actually super warm. I could wear a short sleeve outside right now. It's raining, but besides that, pretty good. No complaints. I'm actually failing and out of bounds right now, if you would believe that, Church, during my holidays. And it's making me look kind of silly.
Sometimes these things happen. These OOBs do not sound the most fun to do.
They're fun when they work.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, normally it's
normally
it's 11 dodges to the left. I don't know why I did 10. I figured that would help the loading of the level, but I'm just gonna do the 11 intended. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the worst part of all of this is because I'm so mentally invested in this skip now, I don't even remember the rest of the game. Is this Control? Is this Max Payne? What game are we playing? Is this Lethal Company? Do I need to leave? Is everyone dead? Oh, crap.
He's talking. Hello?
Yeah. Friends. Okay, please, please, please. Please, 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 please. All right. One more. I just do it regularly. I'm just gonna do it regularly because.
Your call.
Yeah. Yep. Let's do this section regularly. Let's do the glitchless route of that. Oh, that hurts the estimate, doesn't it? So we're gonna go and you know what? It's because I insulted the New York subway. All the New York people in chat are like, "Hey, that ain't cool," you know. So. Yeah. But normally that would load us out. I will show you guys in the glitchless route where that would have landed us. But for now, we're just going to do this glitchless. There are a cool couple of tricks and skips we can save. Oh, the subway.
The subway can smell
The
your
subway,
fear.
yes.
The gates to the platform were closed.
So we're going to be introduced to a new mechanic called echoes. And the main reason why we try to find these skips is because echoes are forced dialogues that give you a scene change.
Something about the station.
And what a scene change is, while Saga can interview people to change the level and mind room things to change the level, Alan can listen to a dialogue and come up with a plot point. And using your storyboard, you're able to change the level as it goes. So there will be like 5 scenes in the level with 5 different plot points. So like a possible of 25 combinations. Or 20 to 25 combinations per area you do. You know what I should have done actually? I should have just turned on like 5 Twitch streams and then just done the out of bounds or something.
I had a flash of inspiration. The ghost of my
So yeah, we got a new plot element. It's called Missing FBI Agent. So you know how this way's closed right now? We changed the scene to Missing FBI Agent. Changes the level. So this is how you normally encounter most enemies and most of the lore is you have to change it appropriately. But what we're gonna do is just change the scenes when we need to, so we don't run into any enemies as much.
The blood
I'm gonna be real, I haven't
continued
done the subway in
deeper into
forever,
darkness.
but I should still have this relatively fresh in my mind.
Shit. I don't like the sound of that. The tunnels were a maze. The blood trail led me on.
Actually, that might help. This might be better because we're introduced to a lot of game mechanics that we'd normally skip if we did the out of bounds. So we get a new scene. We're gonna put FBI agent. We're gonna change the plot. So this way that is blocked, it's unblocked.
I changed the story. And with that, the dark place changed.
Turn off the light, which moves the train.
Another echo lingered here.
For echoes, you have to stand in a specific spot for them to activate. And if you leave the area, the echo will reset. So we're going to the furthest point away from the echo's radius before it triggers. And all we need to do is wait for the prompt to come at the bottom of the left, which then we can leave the area for echoes. So normally if you play this casually, you'd be like, oh, I got a new plot element. I'd have to change the scene to murder cult in here, but no, you actually don't have to.
The water was gone. The way forward was open. Someone was humming. Was it worth the risk to go see who?
Ah, enemy. Ouch. Safety save.
The train blocked my way forward.
We're gonna change the scene here, which actually does spawn an enemy. So we just kind of gotta be careful here. Our flashlight's good, our ammo's good. So. He's to my right here. Oh. That goes back here.
This is where the history of the cult gets genuinely disturbing.
Go on, ma'am.
This is where the history of the cult gets genuinely disturbing. The cultists tracked down the torchbearers living in the tunnels. They locked the poor folks up in a derailed subway car, doused it in gasoline. Yeah.
Sure.
Change the scene to torchbearers. There's a jump scare here. There are a lot of burnt bodies on the train, so if you're uncomfortable, look away for 15 seconds.
But it worked. The subway car had become a burnt husk. I could get through it now. None of this was real. It was all real. Fuck me.
This game does a really good job on a bunch of like, not just your stereotypical jump scare horror, but like psychological horror, abduction horror, and emotional horror as well. So I really like that about this game. There was a real enemy behind me. I hope he doesn't follow me down the stairs. That would be uncool.
My path was blocked. The lights would help me.
So here, because we didn't do the skip, it's just optimal flashlighting, knowing the solution to the puzzles, where you have to go. Different ways are blocked. You got to kind of turn on and off the lights at an appropriate time. One of the first out of bounds we actually discovered would actually, it would be something similar, but it would actually drop us to right here, which is about 70% of the subway, which was kind of cool. That skip was really hard to do because that was even a tighter window than the skip I was trying to do. This skip was really bad, and I was so relieved that we found the other skip, but you know, it's out of the oven and into the fire kind of situation at this point. We're gonna change the scene to murder cult here. Ah, scary. We're gonna line up with these pews right here to look at the echo right here.
The Fed had witnessed something here that made him run scared. Whether the summoning ritual had been a bona fide supernatural event or the mass psychosis of stark raving lunatics, it didn't change the facts. The cult
We have to
was
wait right
messing
here
with
so we don't
things
miss the echo.
no one should mess with.
Change this thing to
The
summoning
was a
ritual.
vital part of the story.
And summoning ritual is actually the last plot element we'll get. So we kind of need to go back to that block tunnel. And then we'll be able to progress with the story.
Had to keep going.
These guys are not real. That guy might be real. It's okay. So we're going to be introduced to a new enemy. It's an instant kill, but it's not that bad because it's a forced running section, if that makes sense. But there are a lot of glitches with the forced running sections. I've died. How to describe? If you go too quickly, you will die because I don't know how the game works. The game's like you shouldn't have been here at this point, so you're not in the appropriate spot.
And with that, the dark place changed.
So we'll see. I'm gonna walk here because I don't want to get too close to the one-shot zone. There we go.
The dark presence.
So that cloud actually has a hitbox, and there's a skip to skip this fourth section, but because of the out of bounds we discovered that I tried to do earlier, made this obsolete, but I'm not comfortable doing the glitch right here. And if you do the glitch wrong, you're actually soft lock. You can't, there's no save before or after that helps you with this. So I'm just gonna do this section normally. It saves about 10 seconds if you do the glitch, because you're actually able to run around this thing right here. I'm gonna wait for it to disappear. Listen to the audio cues.
I couldn't hear the dark presence. It was gone. The tunnel was open now.
You see this tunnel right here? This tunnel? This is where we would have landed. We landed above, like right there. So, yep.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of game this game.
Yep. Well, specifically, we would have landed right here, and there wouldn't be a giant one-shot kill thing chasing us. We would have just landed right here and progressed to the end of the level. That skip actually skips the entire subway.
The dark presence.
But you know,
I'd seen it before.
if you'd like to see the skip done properly, please follow me at Twitch.com. Twitch.tv/Aoka. Nah. There are a lot of good
definitely
runs.
check him.
So if you remember Saga's first section, I know Saga's section seems like it's been at least a month since we did that. Nightingale's heart was missing. But guess what we're going to find here? So you kind of see the reality's kind of blending in with the forest. This is similar to Cauldron Lake. There's Nightingale's heart. And that's the end of the Alan Wake section. We're going to go to the hotel or our home in New York and then go back to Saga after that. Saga is the other character you're playing in this game. So for those of you joining in late, to beat this game, you have to complete 2 campaigns. You have to beat Saga's campaign and Alan Wake's campaign, and then it'll activate the finale. So. Is there any Herald or Ocean summoning? There is Herald of Darkness and Ocean summoning in this run. And I will dance to Herald of Darkness too, because there's a cutscene. And it was too good to refuse not to dance to, so...
Parliament Tower. Our home in New York.
So yeah, that skip would have actually saved 5-6 minutes, but because I failed it 4 times
To our apartment.
and did it normally, I probably lost about
Or was this just
15,
an
20
echo
minutes.
of the real thing?
So.
Even then, the murder site had brought me one step closer to escape.
Which is a shame, but the other out of bounds. I don't want to jinx it. I want to say they're free, but you never know. There are going to be a couple of jump scares here. We can actually move in these jump scares by dodging. You can't actually walk through the jump scares. So we're going to just be dodging as soon as before the jump scares start. And we'll be maybe a second or two ahead of where we normally would be.
Leave me alone! Alice! Alice!
Alice's memory card.
The fun fact, on the first patch, you couldn't skip this video. It is a 5-minute video. So I could eat, go to the bathroom, do whatever I wanted during those 5 minutes, but thankfully we can skip that cutscene now. So now we're back to Saga. So what we're gonna do right now is for the next hour and a half, we're gonna beat Saga's campaign, and then we're gonna do Alan's campaign. We only had to, it was only a forced switch in the beginning, so you could kind of just get used to how Saga and Alan play.
It's insane. And there's so much of it.
We're gonna interview
Have you
Alan.
ever heard of the cult of the tree?
Creepy bunch. In the habit of...
If the cult has the clicker,
Final Fantasy.
does that make them Scratch's followers? How are you so certain they even have the clicker?
They could be working for Scratch.
Alan's clearly lying to us, so we're gonna interview him in his head.
Wake said the cult has the clicker. Okay, Mr. Wake. I know you have more pages of the manuscript on you.
You don't understand how vital these pages are. Okay. Here.
So what is the clicker? The clicker is the all-powerful object that will separate, destroy the dark world and the real world. So the cult, the guys in the deer mask, want the clicker. Saga wants the clicker. Mr. Scratch, Alan Wake's evil, like his evil version that's trying to break free from the dark world, wants the clicker. Everybody wants the clicker, but who will get it?
Already got the answers to these. Wake just gave
It might
us
be
a
us.
lot of information.
Is there any order of Saga
It's all on the
Alan?
page. The clicker.
The change to the chapters, you actually have to go to a save room and interact with the prompt, but because there's a huge loading screen and you have to go out of the way to a save room, it's just faster to do the Saga section first and then Alan's section. And then only swap perspectives on the forced swap perspectives. So we'll be playing Saga for a little bit now.
Yeah, Anderson, I didn't want to say this. Meanwhile, I think me and Wake will have it.
Very fun little Easter egg right here, but we can't see it during the speedrun.
Place me in a trailer.
Audio singing on stage. This is actually a 6-minute song you can listen to
I should ask around.
on Spotify or YouTube.
Okay then. Catchy tune.
Very catchy. It's all in Finnish though, so I have no idea what he's saying.
Hey, Saga! Over here!
Sorry, I don't think we've met.
So at this part of the narrative, everyone's like, "Hey, Saga, everyone knows who we are."
Can you help me
And
with
if
that?
you remember the reference to the beginning of the game, where the waitress we were talking to talks about how our daughter died maybe 5, 6, or 10 years ago at Cauldron Lake. So it's kind of weird that everyone knows who we are. And apparently we have a home, we have a trailer here and everything. So at this point of the story, Saga's like,
Do you have a spare set of keys?
let me go check out where they say I used to live, right?
Call the gift shop so they can give Saga a hand. Yep.
There's Coffee World.
Nightless
across
night.
the river.
Yep. So we're gonna enter the amusement park, which is aptly named Espresso World. Every ride is based on a coffee machine or coffee, which is, I love coffee. So this is my ideal amusement ride or amusement park.
Fuck!
For those of you who play DBD, that Huntress is cheating. She just knew where he just knew where I was gonna be. He just pre-threw that axe. Cheater. Reported. New enemy introduced. We have Barry Allens here who are able to flash, sprint everywhere, and then throw axes at us. We are kind of lucky. He is really bad at aiming, so. This is deceiving. This is taken as a backpack on, so you would assume he gives you loot. He does not. It's a bait. No, wait, I can't spoil that. No, he gives you a rocket launcher. So in your casual playthrough, you should definitely waste your flashlight and bullets to kill him. But we're not picking up the rocket launcher in the speedrun. There's no rocket launcher.
More people turning into Taken.
How immersion breaking would that be if there was a bazooka or a rocket launcher in this game?
Or both.
It would be just like, you're supposed to be scared for your life, and you're like, hold on a second, I have a rocket launcher. Like, I'm not scared of anything. I'm gonna blow y'all up.
Anyone here? Nope.
So welcome to
be slightly jarring.
A little, yeah.
Take and get them.
A bit of RNG in this section. There's a couple of key items we can't actually interact with until the enemies are de-aggro to us.
Almost said the key is kept in the
So
gift shop safe.
that means we have to kill them. So we're going to the first ride, the percolator. Woo! Coffee.
Okay then. Always good to have a screwdriver.
I hear another guy, yep. He is taking a sweet time running to me. Oh, that's because he's not running. So, like I said before, we got to shoot them in the leg so we don't waste any flashlight charges. We got a couple enemies here. My ammo count is not looking ideal, but it's survivable. There are 3 enemies here. We should kill them all on this first pass through because they're kind of set spawns. Okay.
Okay, I think that's all of them. Now where is that safe?
We're going to cheat a little, and we know the passcode ahead of time.
Okay.
Instead of exploring the whole shop for clues and keys.
Now to find the clicker and the Colt.
So we're going to go to our home at this point. We'll be back to the amusement park very soon. Don't worry about it. And we're going to be introduced to 2 new, very core characters. Thor and Odin. Yes, you heard me right. It's Thor and Odin. So just a calm walk, the quiet before the storm. The scary stuff will happen very shortly, I promise you, within the next 30 seconds.
The page said I'd run into a cultist here. On your toes, Saga.
Thor and Odin are
Stay focused.
these 2 drunk
I need to
guys.
check out the trailer.
So remember them. They're very important to the story. They were in Alan Wake 1, yes.
Reeks of booze.
Kratos will deal with them.
Everything here.
So we're trying to find a newspaper. If you look really quickly before I skip it, it says local girl drowns. So what is kind of going on?
Mulligan is a cultist?
So we find out
What's
here,
going on here?
Thornton and Mulligan are cultists. So do you remember the narrative flaw I said in the beginning? Of how they were just like, oh, darn, all of our coworkers are dead and were killed by the Taken. They themselves are Taken.
Okay.
So it makes sense in
Makes a
hindsight.
little bit more sense, yeah.
Yeah. But when you play for your casual playthrough, you're just like, what? Why?
Fix this.
Yep, they knew pretty much. Mm-hmm.
This is the workshop from the photo with the cultists. This is where they had the clicker. If it's still here, I need to find it. Locked. They must be in there. There has to be a way. This is the cult's hideout. Their headquarters, even? A fuse.
So the clicker is down here, right in the cultist territory, so we'll be approaching the end of the level as soon as we grab the clicker here.
Hey! Freeze!
Just kidding. They took it to the overlap, so we gotta follow them into the overlap.
They're playing with me. I was so close.
There's a little kind of forced enemy here. It's slightly tankier. It's like a very small mini boss. But we're gonna skip it. Hopefully he doesn't grab us from behind. We're gonna dodge to the side. If that bale of hay doesn't block us. Okay, that was close. He actually can't come out of the barn, which is actually kind of cool.
Overlap formed around Watery's dark past. The ritual to enter was tied to craft.
So we're gonna mind room some stuff. We're gonna figure out that there are 4 clues to opening the overlap, and that is finishing this parade float. We're gonna need 4 key items. And we can't actually interact with the key items if there are enemies present, like I said before, so we're gonna find the 4 clues.
So this is the Koskela Brothers parade float. Looks like
4
only
clues
4
there.
pieces are missing. The mask is the only one.
The nice part about the mind room is if you just progress with the story quickly in the speedrun, it auto fills the mind board of the previous stuff that you should have looked at, but didn't. So. No hands.
The materials listed for the parade.
There's one clue we have to do, and that's by interviewing these guys where the moose mask is.
Where is the mask?
And this will spawn one of the 4 key items. And that's the only key item we actually have to really interact with. So.
Like I did in Cauldron Lake.
There's a cool skip here
Here in Coffee World.
that I want to kind of show you. It's called zipping. If you're familiar with Elden Ring, I guess that's the best example. Okay, Saga, I need you to close the door from the other side. Okay, there we go. So the game might render for a little bit, but trust me, it's faster if it works out properly. So that's zipping in this game. We don't do it often as I'd like to, but because a lot of the levels have different triggers and loads. So if you actually do it at certain points of the level, the levels deload and things don't spawn properly. So we kind of had to play around with what is optimal, which door, like, you know, if we'd have to run to another door, how much time does it actually save if we have to run to a further door that zips us, you know? So we got the cassette player, which is key item number 1. We're gonna grab the toy knife in the gift shop. I hear an enemy, but I don't think he's aggroed. Okay, he's not aggroed. There's gonna be a forced enemy spawn right here. Yeah, I jinxed it. There's gonna be a forced enemy coming out of the well. So we're on our way to grab key item number 3, which is on this ride, the Espresso Express.
A fuse is missing. Can't operate the ride without it.
A really cool time save if I'm fast enough. You could actually do some inventory management while you're waiting for this puzzle to finish, so you don't have to do it later. And Perfect. We're gonna grab key item number 3 right here, which is the board, the circuit board. And then we're gonna grab the last key item, the moose mask. And the reason why we grab the moose mask glass is because Saga actually has to manually hold it.
Good thing no one was riding there.
There should be one more forced enemy spawn. Please don't spawn any more enemies, game. You're the best. So because the game registers I'm still in combat, you're not unable to interact with the key item, so we just have to wait for combat to end.
Now I need to bring the mask to the float.
So now we're going to be entering our second overlap of the game.
The moose skull goes
The
here,
watery,
obviously. Some creepy laughing for atmosphere. There's your
watery
knife.
overlap.
A little something to get those arms moving.
So this overlap is actually very confusing if you played this for the first time. I'm going through the world, it doesn't matter. So there is no quick way to do this overlap. It looks like we're going to be taking a lot of repeating paths, but there are just apparently there are triggers on each part of the path that we need to hit. Otherwise, the rest of the level will not load. We're going to do a little bit of running. And if anyone has any questions in chat at this time, feel free to ask them, because at this point I'm just doing the maze optimally.
Shadows on their faces.
The dialogue here, funnily enough, is very random. And I think there are maybe 10 different quotes they could say. There was one that particularly hurt. They say, F you, you're a failure. And I was just like, oh.
Logan! I'm here!
That's rough.
Logan!
Yeah, that's rough. It's like the shadows are hunting you. I'm like,
storm's
okay,
trying to
that's
take
not bad. That's what I
I
expected.
can still stop this. I need the clicker.
We've been here before.
I'm doing my best, game.
yeah, I think I've heard it twice before, and I'm always just like,
I
oh.
saw him this way in the other
What?
overlap. It's a loop.
Any
Just
questions
like before.
related to the run? Not random questions. I should rephrase that. Favorite old... I like Ocean Summoning more than Herald of Darkness, honestly. But there, I mean... Most tedious part of the speedrun was the out of bounds I failed, probably, which... It's only tedious because it sucks when you just can't control the outcome, honestly. Just happens sometimes. So we went down the well last time, right? Wrong.
This is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get through that. I need to look for another way
Well,
through.
never mind.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys listen to where the music is, you actually can't skip any part of this level. You have to hit the triggers where the music is. So if you guys recall how I ran past the well is actually right back here. And I ran that way. But if I don't make the loop around, this path here is not open. So this is a bunch of stuff you have to do. And on a casual playthrough, it kind of does make you feel like you missed it, you know? You hit the table right there, which spawns another path. A bunch of enemies. We'll take the hit right there. Taking that hit, the melee swing is kind of important because you don't want him to grab you. Because if he grabs you, we have a flare right now. And the flare, Saga will use the flare as part of her defensive stance to kind of reveal him at the same time and like break free from it. But we actually need that flare for an upcoming boss. So it's very important that they do a melee attack. So it's usually a relief if he just swings and we get hit. Hopefully, we don't get grabbed this time around. Unless they decide to sprint at us like that, which is cool. I didn't want to finish this run anyway.
Going down.
No, the run actually does die. If any of those guys grab you, the run is dead. So
That's not good.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of speedruns where one enemy interaction could just mess up your entire run. And obviously, if you're doing it casually, go get grabbed. More power to you. But it does save about 30 seconds for the boss fight, like having a flare. Does the run change much between New Game and Final Chapter? Yes, without spoiling everything, the story is very different between both. So that is why Final Draft is actually the New Game Plus mode of this, which they just added recently within the last month. And it offers a very good resolution to the story. So.
Interesting, okay.
Yep. I love it when New Game Plus modes offer a different part of the story. I think games have started to do that recently, but actually, hold up. There's a boss fight right here. I'm going to heal really quickly. It's knowing my luck today. So, let me explain this boss fight, because once it starts, it's very hectic. I have to fight Thornton and Mulligan. They will spawn one at a time on like a 20-second timer each. They have their own respective HPs. If I kill them, they will respawn infinitely. There are 5 bulbs, the light bulbs around the arena, where I have to break all 5 bulbs before killing them, because that stops their infinite spawn. The problem is, if any of them are alive, and you try to break open a bulb, they will instantly knock you out of it. Like, they will just teleport shoot you out of it. It's just part of the game. So for the first one, we're going to have to kill Thornton and then do all the bulbs before Mulligan spawns. So hopefully that works out well. First bulb's right there. So we're going to use the flare. Break multiple of these bulbs at once. And that is all 5 bulbs with the flare. So now we just have to kill... At this point, it's a gunfight. Hopefully it's one shot to the head with a shotgun each. But sometimes it depends if you crit or not. So I'm going to wait for their iframes to end. That is the Thornton Mulligan boss fight. There's a cute little skip up here. As soon as Saga puts away her flashlight, she's going to get on the phone. But by mind rooming, we're going to ego the phone call. We're going to put the caller on ignore, which is one of my favorite parts. It saves about 20-30 seconds, because when you're on a phone, Saga starts walking. But if you're not talking to anyone, Saga starts running. So, yeah, I don't want to listen to that phone call. We're going to interview somebody. Doesn't matter what prompt. So Saga's just going to be holding her hand, the phone in her hand, while she's just running now for the rest of this chapter. Nobody's on the line. The world record for this game is high 240, and that's currently by me, so... But it should be broken. It just comes down to if you can get a run with the out-of-bounds first try, which... I mean, God knows a lot of us are trying, but it's just so hard and it's discouraging sometimes. Because if it was an hour-long speedrun, resetting on an hour-long is really not that bad. But if you're resetting 2 hours in, that's pretty bad. And a lot of us aren't full-time speedrunners either, you know?
Yeah, when you only have, like, 3 to 4 hours to speedrun and you're speedrunning, like you have to reset, like, 2 hours in, it's like, yeah, maybe I'm not resetting. Maybe I'm just taking this.
Maybe you take the PV, right? The fun section, while Saga was exploring that area, back at the lodge, the cult attacked everyone. A lot of people are dead, and Casey is missing. So we're playing as Alan again for the transition into Saga's final chapter.
In my head, stronger by the minute. Why didn't he kill me with the rest? What did he want? I needed to find Casey. We were on the same side in this fight. Strength in numbers. A gun and a flashlight.
We're about halfway through the run at this point, I would say. What's the time right now, if you don't mind me asking?
It's about 128.
Did you say 120 or 40?
128. 128.
Okay, we might hit 3 hours. Yeah. I mean, I did lose 20 minutes on that subway skip, but, you know. This guy normally never grabs, but I had him grab me once out of like 50 attempts, so I just always kill him now.
The pressure in my head was unbearable. Scratch was getting closer, stronger than ever.
Casey! Look out! It's him!
The pressure eased off.
So for those of you tuning in, story, all you need to know is real world, shadow world.
Casey, I'm coming!
Just think of Stranger Things from Netflix. That's the very dumbed down summary of kind of what's going on in Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake 2. So now we play Saga again, and we're going to be doing her kind of last section before we set up for the finale on Saga's end.
I'm off the case, but I can still visit family.
So Thor and Odin from earlier actually tell us that there are grandparents. Which...
How did you know I was coming to see you?
Doubt? F to doubt, you know?
We have bigger problems.
Yeah.
Fuck you fucking...
Whoa, language.
Shit. Something is off at that nursing home.
So in this point of the story, Saga's kind of being gaslit to believe that A, her daughter's dead, and her grandparents' name are Thor and Odin. So that's kind of what's going on in Saga's end right now. And she doesn't know what's really going on, right? He attacked really early. I have a feeling he's going to attack one more time. There we go. Yeah. So we're actually going to go to the nursing home where we're kind of introduced to the waitress. I think her name was Rose. Yeah, her name was Rose. So Rose is actually the main... I don't know if it's the correct term, but like nurse practitioner for this nursing home.
The less I knew about him, the
And she's kind of avoiding us. She's a very red flag at this point. She seems airheaded, but she's kind of gaslighting us, we think.
I was just getting them. Oh, Saga? What's up?
Hello, Rose. Thought I'd swing by, see the family. Not a bad time.
So Thor called us and said, hey, you got to come to the nursing home. We need
I
help.
was just on the phone with Tor.
But then Rose tells us, yeah, Thor and Odin are fine. They just got drunk. Which
Sure.
I could
They
believe.
always
But
love visitors.
you know that they're hungover.
Not smart to be outside when the sun goes down.
I love the architecture.
We're going to run a little bit forward to her so it triggers a conversation, and then we're going to kind of explore what's going on in this nursing home.
Look who swung by.
We're going to do the minimum number of clues we need to progress, and that is checking Thor's room. It's empty. We find a bunch of broken bottles on the ground, and Odin is
in bad shape.
in bad shape.
He was drunk and watery.
But he's hungover. That's the bad shape.
Or is
so.
this something more serious? Can you hear me, Odin?
That's how I sound when I'm hungover as well. So.
Torrent Odin Anderson? Can you hear me?
Cute picture on the wall. You see Thor, Odin, Saga's mom, and Saga. But you gotta realize, is anything going on real? Is this true? Is Saga like not remembering what's going on? You know.
He's in no shape to talk.
Too many ants.
We're gonna do some mind room stuff here.
Torrent Odin might know something about the...
So even though Odin is drunk, we could still talk to him in our minds.
Odin's in rough shape.
And it turns out Thor and Odin can actually actively communicate with us in our mind place as well, because they themselves have their own mind places as well. So this is kind of our first clue into who Saga is as a person. And it obviously strengthens the point that they're family, right? So
Tor's in the wellness center, isn't he?
the Tor's in the hospital, that's kind of just linked. That's linked to this building. We're gonna go there.
Watch out.
And we're gonna be introduced to our villain of this arc. Cynthia Weaver is a very frail old lady. You're gonna see a bunch of jump scares of her. Cynthia Weaver is actually a hermit character in Alan Wake 1. But in 2, she's gonna be our boss for this section.
Tor? It's Saga Anderson. Tor, wait! Oh, come on. A security computer needs a password. And a warrant, technically.
Hey,
But hey,
it's eating my
desperate times. And the doors are open.
We're gonna get ready a flare because an enemy's gonna spawn and a block door with the bulb, so we're gonna get ready to throw the flare. Introduced to a new enemy. The enemy is called a Drowner. It's 2 heads. That actually scared me. I forgot that jump scare was there. It has 2 heads. You gotta shoot both heads. One top of it, one below it. So in this cutscene that we're skipping, it's gonna be very confusing, but trust me, it makes sense. Tor walked into the water, and Cynthia dragged him under the water. So it's implied that this pond is the overlap, the entrance to the overlap. But Rose is just like gaslighting
She's
us.
clearly lying to me. Why?
We don't know why, but she just is.
Rose
I wish I could tell you there was much of a... She has a pretty cool backstory as well, but it just turns out she's a big Alan Wake fangirl. So she wants everything in his story to come true.
Here's the page. Wake.
That's literally what she is. You think she's a villain? No, she's just a red flag
Selector on the jukebox.
super fan, psycho super fan.
In its place. Saga couldn't have found it without Odin's help. A light bloomed in through the.
So we're gonna go to. So we're gonna explore. So it turns out to get into the overlap, we have to find an old Gods of Asgard album.
Gods of Asgard record. Odin will know more.
And the record is not there. And it turns out Cynthia stashed it in her room. So we're gonna head up to Cynthia's room right now.
But it's gone. Cynthia has the record.
Pretty easy.
She will tell me where to find it.
Until she turns off the power and we gotta go into the scary basement to turn on the fuse. So
What has been has gone. But trouble doesn't look like it. You can go.
we're gonna do a bit of interviewing here right now. We didn't do it earlier because we wanted the asset to load. We're gonna interview Cynthia, Anger's Remorse, where is it? And interview her again, where is it? And this will actually cause the record to spawn in her room. It's similar to Nightingale's Heart. We have to interview the culprit, and then it'll spawn. Oh, he missed. We're gonna pause for a second or two here. Because if we just ran straight through, the level will not have loaded. Because the game thinks you're gonna be fighting those enemies there. So it doesn't load the basement. So you actually have to stand in front of the door for 1 or 2 seconds so the level loads. If not, you fall into the void. And I've taught 2 runners this, and they're just like, hey, my PC can handle it. They just run through the basement, and then they just fall forever. So, 273. We'd actually have to go further into the basement, into the scarier stuff. But because we know the password, because we're cheating.
Come in handy.
No, it's because it's always the same solution. There's no RNG puzzles. So leaving the basement is actually quite short.
There. Power's back on.
We're actually going to be doing a little moving during this jump scare. It's just, you just kind of got to know where's the layout of the map. And a little bit of RNG. RNG is not very helpful because they could actually enter the house with us, but hopefully they don't enter the house with us. So I think one of them entered the house. I kind of hear the footsteps, so a little unlucky there, but it's not the worst. But now since the power's back on, we're gonna go to Cynthia's room, get the record, and play it on the jukebox to enter the overlap.
Thanks.
Right now, a bit of RNG. A drowner does spawn, but we're gonna hope the drowner doesn't hit us as we're putting the record in. Because you can get... Okay, that's good. You can get... the menuing in this game and the mine place is live. So you could actually get knocked out of the mine place. If I just entered the mine place right now, and then they hit me, it would just take me back here. Okay, perfect. So if you play this level casually, I promise you this is the worst maze you will ever enter. There are doors everywhere. And it resets you to the beginning of the level unless you do the loop perfectly 3 times. So.
Oh no.
Yes. But the nice thing is some of the rooms give you ammo and stuff, but for speedrun purposes we don't need to grab that. Yeah. There's an enemy here. Fun fact, I am very bad at rhythm games, so that switch right there, I have lost 15 seconds. I kid you not, on not hitting the generator switches. Like, you know, hit it when the progress bar lands in this zone. I am so bad at those. It is my least favorite any type of in any game. You could give me a 10-digit combination, I will memorize that. I cannot rhythm-based puzzles. I cannot do to save my life.
Yeah, those are the harder ones for me too. Like I can, if the buffer is decently big, I can usually get them. But like if you give me a small one, I'm just like, I'm gonna be here for 10 minutes. Like this is bad.
So there's actually an option in the game menu that allows you to do it once, because normally you'd have to do it 3 times. But then there's a press hold instead of tap. Like, you know, in games you have to tap to do an action versus hold it to do an action. They offer that, but you still have to tap, even with that option on. The only thing it really changes is that I only have to do the generator once as opposed to 3 times. It's kind of weird, but... Fun fact, there's a key in one of these drawers. It is random which drawer it spawns in, but, you know, we're lucky. I don't actually want to pick up the bolt cutter too quickly because I've actually interacted with it too quickly, and the door of the tool cabinet just flings me into a stuck place, and then, you know, it just resets you so far back. She's having trouble getting her words out. So we're kind of approaching right before the boss arena, if it wasn't obvious. Well, hold up, we'll get there temporarily. So you see glimpses of Alan during Saga's section right here. Similarly, in Alan's section, you will see glimpses of Saga. So we kind of see glimpses of a long hallway, red carpet. We have no idea where it leads to, but it's synced somewhere to the Dark World.
Tor!
Wow, what a big circular room. I sure hope this is not a boss arena.
I'm sorry, kiddo.
But before we fight her, we actually have to hit a generator that's in the water. And the mechanic of this section is if you're in the water too long, Cynthia will spawn in the water and just grab you and you take a bunch of damage. It's one of those, if you kind of see, you'd have to just go on these platforms and just wait for her to go. But because this is a speedrun, we pray that she spawns behind us and not in front of us. She spawned right in front of us. This game is rough. And then you lose a couple of seconds here just hitting her, so. Surely she doesn't spawn in front of us twice, right? There's no way she does. Absolutely no way. Yeah, she spawns right in front of us again. That's what I expected of the run to go. But yeah, we're gonna do the generator right here. She didn't grab us at that point, which is kind of good. I failed the hardest part of the... I got the hardest part of the run, which is nailing that generator. We're gonna turn on the power. Cynthia is actually probably the hardest fight casually. She is so tanky, she does all these psychic attacks that shoot waves at us, right? But if you recall the explosive stuff we picked up earlier, it should make her fight very easy. It should insta-kill her, if not, knock her to phase 2. And phase 2 is relatively pretty easy at this point. So before she spawns, we're gonna do a bit of... And that is the Cynthia boss fight. Normally, she's super tanky. She takes a lot of shotgun bullets and a lot of pistol bullets.
We need to talk.
I pulled Tor out of the place, so we're going to interview him, do a couple of key things that we need to find out from him, which is the mine place. Where's the clicker?
I have the clicker.
So funny fact, the game opens this back area. You could enter the main town through, but it's actually quicker just going back the way you came from. So if you notice my game, you see how it's kind of like flashing? That's because it'll only happen during this level. For some reason, the game loads the entire map. Like, it loads the main town because it's all connected. So the game is still rendering as we're like moving along.
We have to work together.
So this section is a bit rough on the eyes visually. It kind of gets annoying, but I kind of droned it out. But it's only this section, I promise, for the next 3-4 minutes.
Damn it. Where are you, Casey? He better be okay.
So if you took the back way casually, you actually fight a lot of enemies. There are a lot of chests. There's a lot of ammo drops. You even get grenades. Actually, if you take the back way, but because it's about 1.5 minutes slower, we just go back the way we came. And the only enemies that should be here are these 2 wolves. But I've had cultists spawn here before, which is unlucky. So right here actually is the way back to the main town, but if you went through the back way, you'd be coming through this path, so... So now we finished with Saga's, pretty much her final section of the thing. We are going to be setting up for Saga's finale. And for those of you who wanted to listen to the music, that's what's coming up in about 3-4 minutes, so... So we're just going to be running to the police station. And like I said, the only reason you don't see any % runs on the board right now is because a lot of runners kind of want to get a good run. The out of bounds are so hardware dependent and very kind of random, and they're rough. They're just hard. You know, I don't want to submit a run where I don't nail them. So I'm not submitting until I get a good run in. I've been practicing this game, any % at least, for 3 weeks. So, but there are a lot of people running this game and practicing this game. Which is kind of a fun evolution of the thing. When I first ran this game, there were no glitches, no out of bounds. And then I was talking to my other speedrunner friends, and I was like, I think I'm gonna think of running Alan Wake 2, and they're like, you know, that's gonna be a 5-hour speedrun where you just talk to half the characters. And I said, maybe.
Power's out.
No, it's come to a good place. So we're gonna have to kill this enemy here.
Anyone
because everyone's dead in the police station. Because the Taken have actually taken control
Agent
over the
Estevez?
police station now. So you kind of
Is that
see
you?
as we're
That
not
leg
getting
doesn't
control of the
look good.
clicker, the shadow world is
Feels
kind of
even worse.
creeping into the real world.
But
So
thanks for saving the rest of me.
I'm gonna put this flashlight in her face, but she's
should
still not
talk.
blinking.
Where is Wake? I know what's going on here. Wake can fix this.
Alan Wake is the
Estevez, I need to see Wake. How do I get into the cell block?
So it turns out,
Okay.
so Agent Estevez here is referenced in Control. She is from the Federal Bureau.
these keys.
Oh, the keys. Thank you, Estevez. She is actually from the Federal Bureau of Control, and she is here to arrest
morgue,
Alan
huh?
Wake because he is a para-utilitarian, which has superpowers, is the easiest way to describe
You
it.
read me, Anderson.
I read you.
Because of the clicker, rider,
Have you had
real
our
world
frequency
kind of
this
thing.
entire time?
Eavesdropping is a big part of the job. But no, I got it from your partner. Anderson, look for a fuse to replace the blown out one in the fuse box. That should get the power going.
Stay the fuck down!
Casey!
It's our partner, Max Payne. I mean, Alex Casey.
Hey,
Who
Anderson.
looks an awful lot like Sam Lake.
I'm done with the place.
Could use a bit more light.
Funny.
How are you holding up?
Don't give me that worried.
Watery turned out to be a good lead. Found the clicker and the cult. But the horror story's changing reality,
Loot is random, yes.
like Wake said it would. Logan, she's, the story claims she died here. But we can stop it.
Wait, Saga.
But even now,
I'm
so
gonna fix
now
this,
Casey thinks that
You, Logan.
Logan is dead as
All
well.
of it.
So he's like, Saga, you're the crazy one.
I just need to get the power back on first.
Give him hell, Anderson. It's there.
Stay put, Casey.
So there are going to be a bunch of enemies that kind of spawn on our way back, but we need a flash because there is a blocked entrance right up there. We're going to use the flash.
But the shaded hostile right here are... We're coming down.
We're going to hopefully slide past this drowner. Oh, okay, good. Perfect.
Anderson, over here, behind the counter.
Cool.
Saga. Fucking FBI.
And these are the two trailer guys, if you recall. And it turns out they're the leaders of the cult. And they're trying to...
You're the leaders of the cult.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
Wake will ruin everything.
So we're trying to prevent Scratch from entering the real world. And Alan's in the real world, and we're going to be...
I have the clicker. You will
Alan's
fix
in the
this.
Alan's in the real
You will
world, and we need
save
to prevent
my daughter.
Scratch from the shadow world entering the real world, right? But
Don't fucking give it to him. He's a fucking monster, Saga. There it is. We've been waiting for you, my man.
It's Scratch.
we didn't actually save
Pretending to
Alan.
awake.
We brought back the fake Alan Wake. We brought back Scratch to the real world. Alan is still trapped in the real world, or a shadow world. And that's one of the big reveals of this game. So we can't actually damage him, we can only stun him. We need to turn on 3 generators. If we don't stun him, he will grab us off the generators no matter what in kind of a scripted prompt.
Another
So
core activated.
there's one more flashlight, or one more generator. No, he's not stunned. Yeah, see, like that, he'll kind of just... And that's this. And that is Scratch 1. The first time we fight him. If that kind of yeah, that's the implication. We're gonna fight him again. We're definitely gonna fight him again because he's the big bad of the game.
Scratch's Wake's double. He tricked us.
We're gonna grab this automatic shotgun while they're talking during this forced dialogue
The whole
section.
plan has gone out the window. How could we get this so wrong?
And during this forced dialogue, we're gonna actually. This is a thing I do. I re-inventory it.
Shit show.
You don't have to. It's just easy.
So what's the plan?
It's just easier for me.
I'm sure Sheriff
The
Blake
FBC
wouldn't mind
usually
if I-
handles stuff like this, right?
Any thoughts?
Hold up.
So this is kind of a whole mind room section that
Scratch
sets
pretended
us
to
up
be
for the
Wake to
finale.
trick us.
He almost won me over.
This is actually one of the more
The horror stories changing
one of the more confusing
Maybe
mine
it's my
rooms,
daughter died
especially if
here,
you play this
even though she's
casually, because
supposed to
there's
be
so
back
many
home in
clues that
Virginia.
are unnecessary.
Do you know if that's...
AWEs are localized as...
So tell me what I'm missing. The FBC must know something.
Good news, we have Bureau Intel on all. Federal Bureau of Control. Here's a key to the...
So now I am a control agent, and we're going to play Control 2 now. My name is Avukambu, and we'll be running Control 2 today.
Wait a minute.
Wait
this wasn't on the schedule. I've been bamboozled.
Gateway to the dark place. What the hell is a para-utilitarian? Wake isn't the first person the dark presence disguised itself as.
So the whole reveal, it turns out we didn't actually pull out Wake from the overlap. We pulled out Scratch from the overlap. And the events of Alan's section were not before he got pulled out of the overlap. It's him currently in the overlap. It's a little kind of mind stuff there. Some trickery going on.
I need to know what information I can still trust. I assumed Wake escaped the dark. Wake is trapped in the dark place.
Yes, I know the screens, the game's still rendering because it's still loading the whole map in this section, so. So we need 2 more clues. Estevez is going to give us the first of the final 2 clues, and then we got to talk to Tor right
Scratch
after.
told me the clicker can be used to change the story. Does that match your understanding of this thing?
Yeah, the light switch is a paranatural light.
And that gives us the interview option for
can fix this.
or Tor,
I can't use
and
it.
that's
Wake is
rescuing
still
Wake,
in the
and
dark
this is the
place.
last of our mine room before Saga realizes.
I will use
So
the clicker to change reality.
So the way to open the portal, to the real world. Well,
I just need to tell the others what to do.
she
and
can
fix
kind of explain it.
everything.
I'll
For
explain
good.
it afterwards.
So we need Wake to fix the story, right? That hasn't changed. So here's what I have. Wake's still trapped in the dark place, under the lake. I think we can use the clicker to get him out. But first, we need a work of art. Something other than his story. And that'll get him here.
I'm not filling out the paperwork for this one.
So this gives us a final,
ready to
do you
head
want
to
to
Cold
save
Lake now.
option? Oh, I should have saved it
Let's get the
hindsight,
plan
huh?
started.
Okay, here we go.
I'm so used to doing a run.
What do you need?
Oh no. There's no way I die here, right?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Nah. So it turns out we need another piece of art to summon Alan,
the
to
old
open the
gods of
portal that
Asgard.
brings Alan back, right? Because we
very
brought back
special
Scratch. So, if it's not art, but if it's not a story,
Ready to hit the road, just like the old times, baby.
You saw this coming, huh? Of course. I need a song about Alan Wake. About bringing him out of the dark place.
A rider, a lake of darkness, bringing him into the light. It writes itself.
I hope they've still got it.
so Saga's asking her grandparents, can you write me a song about Alan Wake?
Pick up, pick up.
It's coming, boys and girls.
David, please pick up.
David.
David!
We're incoming with the lights, Anderson. Where do you want them?
Set them up on the shore. We need to be ready if Scratch shows up.
We'll be ready. That's the best out.
That must be Tornodin.
Listen to the dialogue. It's absolutely hilarious during this part.
I
I need you to meet.
Tree! What tree? There's no tree in the sun! Who the fuck put a tree in the middle of the road? I know I'm on a roll.
Drive carefully, Grandpa.
Pedal to the metal, bro! Metal to the pedal! Yeah!
Yeah!
Very rock and roll way to drive.
So while we run to the summoning ritual, most horror games have a meme most survival horror games have a section it comes from Resident Evil 4, but it's called the cabin section. We call it a cabin section because it's a holdout section where enemies just spawn and you just kind of gotta stay in an arena and just kill as many enemies as you can, right? So this is what we would consider the cabin section of this game. But I can guarantee you right now, this is the best cabin section of any of those games.
They're here, and they bought moonshine. I love them already. They're alive.
You wanted to know what art we would use?
1, 2.
Well, that's them.
1, 2.
We're gonna kill this enemy right here because he can actually grab us before we do the light bulbs right here. Sometimes they spawn 2 enemies, but luckily we only got 1. They spawn 2.
Testing.
There's a bit of a dialogue section here before the actual combat starts, so I'm gonna run to the restroom during this section as soon as I start it. But before I do, tech support said I could do this. I get the pass. We're Gucci.
Times are not rock and roll.
Enjoy.
I'm here. Let's get ready.
Anderson, we've set up control.
You signal me when the song is done, and I'll use equipment to bring Wake back. Hit it!
Hello, Cauldron Lake. Great to see so many federal agents here tonight. Prepare to experience a soul-searing, mind-frying act of black magic and sorcery. This song goes out to our favorite tortured writer. Let these sweet tunes guide you out of the darkness. It's called Dark Ocean Summoning. You're making me look bad in front of Saga, bro. Let's try that again.
I'm not gonna explain anything here. Enjoy the music. I will just be killing enemies.
A whole lot of paranormal crimes happening right now. That's fucking awesome. I want a t-shirt.
Show's drawing a crowd.
Take an incoming, Anderson.
I name the stars over your cauldron.
More taken on the way.
Throwing my voice into your shadow. The underworld's darkest place.
I'll get him into the light.
The onyx kiss of inky waters. The jet black undertow rise. From the cold once more the ocean's a lake, so unlike a land away.
I have him in the light.
So awake, new and whole, my name I will summon him. From the silence of screams, from the city
Anderson on the left. They're trying to stop the song.
Hey, you're going for the old guys.
The power of rock and roll.
So, it turns out the portal doesn't work. Alan didn't get pulled through the portal. So Saga's like, what's going on? What's happening? And to find out, we have to play Alan's chapter to figure out what's going on.
Draft of initiation. I was back, and I hadn't forgotten. I knew how.
All right, chat. I have really bad news.
No more surprises.
But I'll leave it up to you guys. There's actually a skip for this section. If you like the music of the last split, you will love this split. But because this is not a world record attempt or an official speedrun, I don't have to skip this section. It's like a 4-minute time save. So don't skip or skip the music. Church, I'll leave it up to you. Chat's saying they don't want me to do the skip, but I don't know, it's a speedrun. I think I should skip this, don't you think so?
I mean, normally, but I think you gotta play. You can't skip the sick jams.
Funny story before, I'm not gonna talk anywhere during the song, but one funny story before I start the song, we were just like, the person who found this skip, we're just like, we gotta ban them from the chat. This skip.
From what I've gathered, you grew up nice and sheltered with mama's pretty stories and your own made-up fury. And mama gave me a magic clicker. Well, yes, I think it's true and fair to say. light up my imagination. And you had nightmares night and day. Yeah, but with the clicker, I chased those frights away. Ooh, you, so true. So here is a clue of hope to remember. Visions, they come true. Bend the lights with steel. Stories of crime and chilling thrillers of hard-boiled killers became bestsellers. It was all too much, I had to get away. For it to ruin my life that way. Just say you let the jaded lie. Dark shades could never save the day. So sad, but true. Fire the nightmares, torture life. It's a gift or a curse. A reality made of dreams. So many champions of life.
Well, darn, that's the end. Psych. We're halfway.
He could write a new story like Tom Zane before him, and maybe they'd be happy once again. Just one shot, one more chance for him to save their marriage away from the city, a romantic getaway. He's a torchbearer, and it couldn't be much clearer. A war meets its war,
Okay, now it's actually done.
I didn't see that coming. A vision. Such a dark place, am I trapped in here? Is this real? I cannot remember. There was a manuscript, it held a key. A vicious cycle I must not surrender to. Echo scenes to seek out again and again until I figure it out to bring this song to its end. And I thought this place couldn't get any stranger.
Fun story, I did not learn that dance. I played this game so many times. I just knew the dance at this point, which is kind of... Oh, I have so many hours in this game. I'm gonna make a quick save so I don't die. I don't want to dance again.
It was all about me. This performance the Dark Place was putting on. But I had no control over it. I knew how utterly lost I was. The payphone...
Alright, so we have two Allen sections left. We have, before the finale, we have the hotel, and then we have the cinema. So the hotel is the definition of being gaslit. You think the previous overlaps were hard? Hotel is rough, because you have to enter... There are maybe like 20 different rooms you can enter, each with a different number, right? But not every room is necessary to the story. Some rooms actually just have 20 enemies. Some rooms have items. Like, I'm entering the hotel, right? You saw me. I didn't turn around. Bam. I'm not entering the hotel. I'm leaving the hotel. What's going on?
I looked to the neon signs for guidance. A loop that delivered me back to the street. What did the mystery caller said? If the waves keep pushing you away, you just need to find another way in.
I'm gonna be real. I kind of got kudos to Final Fantasy, but I was so sad this didn't get music of or best soundtrack of the year.
I haven't heard the soundtrack. That soundtrack has to be popping to have beat this.
Like the actual music is like the actual in-game combat music, and the ambient music is really good too. Like there was a section earlier I showed you. The guy was swinging in Finnish. The soundtrack and those two songs. There's so many good things about this. There's so many behind the scenes things that they put out into the real world that are just so amazing that I'm just so surprised with all the media and music that came out. Like that this didn't win it.
Yeah.
That was my biggest shock. But I'm happy it won art direction. Art direction was not something I was expecting, but this game definitely deserves it. Oh yeah, we ran Liza P earlier today, right? I honestly put Liza P as my artistic direction for me.
Before we get too far away from it, actually, somebody was asking if you could explain what the skip is to skip the music part.
I go out of bounds. So how the song actually works in the level, hold up, there is a thing here. I'm being grabbed. Okay, good. There's a skip. So how the level works is if you do it slowly, you don't actually hear the lyrics back to back. You have to run to a certain part of the level to get to like the next chorus or the next line. So what it does is after the first verse, we do an out of bounds. So for like a minute, you just hear the bass playing because we never hit any of the triggers, and we go to that final television before the cinematic dance.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep. That's one of the biggest time saves in the game. That's actually relatively free. So it's a shame that we have to skip it, but always remember, chat, there are more important things than getting world record, and that is enjoying yourself. So if you don't enjoy speedrunning, you're doing it for the wrong
Lights
purpose.
affected where the door led to.
Don't do it.
I could see the Ocean View Hotel.
The passcode is the price of a drink, and the price of a drink is $25.50. That is ridiculous. I got so mad when I did this casually. They were like, yeah, the passcode's the price of a drink. I was like, $25.50 for a cocktail? What? And if you guys recall, this was where we did the first out of bounds. This is where we actually dropped into, right here. But obviously, if we do it that way, the rest of the level doesn't load, so it's a bit of a shame.
Empty except for the projector. More games. Was the film a message waiting to be played?
So we get introduced to a newer character in Alan Wake 2. Thomas Zane is in Alan Wake 1. And without spoiling too much, it's kind of just meta. You think Alan Wake wrote the stories to life in Alan Wake 1? It turns out Thomas Zane wrote Alan Wake and the clicker from Alan Wake 1.
The word through the ether. A murder in the backdrop of a play featuring a murder cult. How meta can you get?
This is the forced echo we have to listen to, otherwise we won't be able to leave the hotel.
Of the word in this, and their leader, Mr. Scratch. Rumored to be Alan Wake, the writer who'd gone missing years before.
So normally,
the hotel was a perfect setting for a Casey story.
Normally, we're gonna enter the hotel through the elevator, do a bunch of stuff. Long section, a lot of rooms, a lot of scene changes. Pretty much you hear that, yes, the devil. Summoning ritual this, evil stuff that, Scratch is bad. Yes, Scratch is bad. Stuff like that. But we're gonna do another out of bounds that I hopefully goes better than the first one. So... Church, I'm apologizing ahead of time.
You don't need to apologize. First try every time.
This is first try, I swear. I'm pumped from the song. Okay, so... Actually, I want to be safe. I'm going to make a save really quickly. I think there is... No. Safe's ahead. Save is ahead. Normally, like I said, on an actual world record attempt, I wouldn't save, but just for marathon-friendly purposes. It'd be a shame if we went all the way back to the singing section of the game. And then everyone starts typing, fail the skip. Yeah, the skip sucks.
All of a sudden, chat very much wants you to.
I start getting DDoS. Everything starts happening. Everything starts to happen. Same setup as the first one. Puts us on a platform. So instead of normally doing everything in the hotel, we're gonna line up with this window. Start dodging. There's a wall, but it's not a wall, it's fake. Just gonna play a little safe here. I'm jinxing myself. Okay. Should be good. Yeah. We're gonna fall. Oh, please don't load. 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 Load. Good. We're gonna skip to the final room of the hotel.
Scratch had been here. I could sense his presence lingering in the room. I was about to have
First
another
try.
killer idea.
Sorry, chat. First try.
Let's talk. Okay, let's talk.
So, a fun fact right here. If you guys recall earlier from the subway, there's going to be another forced run instant death section right here. But this is, I don't know if it's intended, if it's a glitch or a bug. If you take optimal, like, if you cut corners running away from this thing, it will catch up to you and you will die. So you have to, I'm going to take wide turns, treat it like a casual playthrough, pretend I don't know the way, and turn slowly. So yeah, that seems to fix it. But hopefully, I've died to a lot. I died to these instant death glitches. It could happen.
The devil comes, an unstoppable force crashing through the hotel through each scene, executed with
Yeah, and that skips the whole hotel. So instead of going to the lobby and then going through all the floors, you just drop to the final room.
He'd only joined the play to get to her.
To murder her.
You again.
Ah, which way do I go? Perhaps I go this way. Ah, yes, this seems to be the right way to go. I sure hope things don't spawn in front of me. Ah! Okay, we're good. But also, since there are no more songs in this, I'm gonna turn the music. That music was loud. I apologize. So now we're back in the lobby.
Dark presence had come for me.
Excellent.
The entrance hall set the mood, where everyone had come in. The victim, the murderer, the detective. The muse was the murder victim. The final scene took place.
So instead of
in
changing the
room
scene 24 times, we're gonna change the scene once to the final, the climax. This is the end of Hotel.
The room at the end of the corridor was closed off.
So if you recognize this, this is part of the underwater where we fight, where we fought Cynthia, right? And guess who we're gonna actually find?
This was the
Cynthia. Ah, the tie to the real world. So yeah, that's Hotel. Hotel casually is very scary. There's a lot of enemies. There's a lot of things going on. It's probably one of the longer sections of the game. So something cool we can do right here. Hopefully this doesn't crash the game. I just jinxed it. Actually, no, that didn't take us as far as I wanted it to go. Let's try again. Okay, that was better, but sometimes if you go quickly, it deloads this whole area and you could actually shoot right back to the main lobby, which it's okay. Two of these guys are real. So that's Hotel.
Parliament Tower was here again. Zane said the manuscript of Return was the key to escaping. I had to get it before Scratch did.
So we're gonna go back to our hotel, do some self-discovery, and then we're gonna do Alan's final section before we enter the finale of the game. So one more Alan section into the finale. So the reason why we're going to the hotel and cinema is because we have to investigate murder sites that connect to the real world, that kind of just bring us closer to it. So that's the reason why he's going to the hotel, not just because he wants a drink that's priced $25 at $50.
Go to hell!
Extremely rude.
Alice's work had consumed the apartment.
That's your wife. And during these videos that we're kind of skipping, we find out that Scratch, since Scratch took the place of Wake, he looks like Wake, right? Wake's double. He was living with Alan's wife, and it drove her to madness, and she killed herself because of it. So, and that's what you kind of, it's very sad to find out in this split. we wake up in the mind room. We gotta wait for the dialogue to finish, and then we interact. And then we teleport it back to the television studio.
Scratch was there, at Parliament Tower, undoing my work. He could use the story to escape. He could go after Alice.
Wake was in the dark,
Zane had said we worked on return.
the other world, for 13 years. So this is the last time we're actually going to be in the studio. You see more and more Wake is kind of more trash. This is where he confronts the host of the show, Warren Dorr, and say, "What's going on? This is not what's supposed to happen." And then Warren Dorr's like, "You're correct. Figure it out." Blah blah blah. A bunch of narratives. I kind of don't want to spoil it for you guys. So
I had no time to waste.
Very dumb. Wait. Here is the light at the end of the... Jumalauta, that held you close.
there's RT again. So do you guys remember the chairs I talked to you about in the very, 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 very beginning of the run, them blocking me? This is where they would block me if they were still there. So if I didn't move those chairs, those two chairs would be right here and I wouldn't be able to move. But since I moved them over 2 hours ago, we should be good.
These were Alice's photos. I recognized the style. One showed the clicker sinking into darkness. The other showed a light in the shape of a bullet.
So we're not actually supposed to grab these photos
Know
yet.
what to do with them yet.
At a later part of the game, you need to come back to the studio casually to pick up those photos. But because they're accessible at this part of the game, we kind of just go a little out of the way since we already spawned in the studio to pick up those photos. Can't see. Okay. So now we're gonna enter the cinema.
I needed to find the murder
The
site.
cinema.
Zane would know where to find one.
You know how I told you guys that tunnel was... Oh yeah. That tunnel was the second worst out of bounds? The cinema actually has the worst out of bounds. It is so bad, I'm not gonna do it. Because people have such a... No. People have such a terrible success rate of it. It's just really, really bad. So...
I assume it's also hardware dependent.
Hardware dependent and... So you know how you would have to... If a skip goes wrong, you land on top of the resource as it loads?
Zane's room.
So for this one...
Upstairs. The elevator would take me.
You have... You know the platform we land on to get to the out of bounds? That disappears after a while. So you are on an incredibly short timer. You have to be leaning the right direction.
Oh.
You can't miss a dodge, like the angle wrong or anything. You have to like nail it. But it's... And on top of the hardware issue, the resources load later or slower than every other time you run it. So, yeah.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah. I get it 1 out of every 15 times. I think another runner told me he gets it 1 out of every 30 times.
That's...
Yeah.
That's the success rate.
Yeah, and if that's a 4-minute time save... I told you earlier in the run, there's a skip 2 hours into the run that saves 4 minutes.
Yeah. The next murder site was
That's
there.
the run killer.
Zane
So.
had created the film in tandem with Return to escape the dark place.
Also, what we've gotten actually really lucky on this run, that actually is a pretty big run killer as well. Enemies could sometimes spawn on you and do a forced grab, knock you onto the ground, and that's like 7-8 seconds as well. But look, I don't want to jinx it. Luckily, we haven't gotten grabbed so far. So. I could show it off once. If I fail it once, it's maybe 30 seconds. Like, I will know instantly if I've done it or not. So. But it's kind of cool to explain. I probably won't get it. If I get it, pause the time save. It's not that bad. I'm running at this angle to not aggro the other half of the street, which contains some real ones. But there's a very good possibility that some of these are real and will follow me as I try to do these lights right here. We're gonna hug this wall because there's gonna be a guy who's gonna do a forced dash grab. Yep, okay, good. We dodged it by hugging the wall. Entering the cinema.
The cinema lobby was a gateway to other realities on the silver screen. I could set a scene here.
So this is Alan's last section before we do the all big finale.
Like I'd been on this case looking for the cult of the word for a lifetime or more. The only case I'd ever been on. They would surface from the dark with their depraved acts of violence and fade back into the night, leaving behind bloody crime scenes and clues heavy with obscure meanings that led nowhere. Arriving at the cinema, I felt a monumental, terrifying revelation trembling before me, ready to open its jaws and swallow me whole.
This place had significance to the cult. There was something to use there.
Buddy, do you a lot of good to talk, buddy.
It was an initiation ceremony. Or so we made our new members believe. 2 of New York's finest. They had performed endless favors to earn their place among us. We had something special waiting for them. And something very special for you, Alex Casey.
Who's your leader? Alan Wake? Scratch? Zane? Give me a name!
You will meet him soon enough.
They're gonna change scenes to New York's finest, and that opens up the cinema.
It fit the genre, so I'd use it.
The cinema is currently empty right now, but if I change
I need a new
scenes,
draft of the story.
yeah, a lot of guys. This light is actually a debate. It's a safe zone right now, but if you turn it off because you just interact with the prompt, it becomes an unsafe zone, and then there's an enemy that spawns here.
Maybe it is you.
Yeah, it's a bait. Like, you're just like, oh, I gotta press F, right?
For you, the puppet, blindly.
We're gonna stand back here because after this scene change, we're gonna have to watch a movie for 20 seconds before we're able to interact with it. And because there are like maybe 5-6 enemies random in the whole theater, and they don't aggro to us, we're in the safe zone. We want to run out right before the prompt is available and try to get it without getting grabbed. And it's one of those hold for like 2-3 seconds prompts. So
Played a role in this story.
we could enjoy this movie for a couple of seconds.
What is this?
I have to wait for the second line of dialogue, and then I can start running out.
Was he playing me in his film? Zane's lamp on the screen had no light. I could transfer the light from my lamp to his. The light of the lamp shone out of the screen and revealed that I was back out
Okay, I
into
didn't
the
get
night.
grabbed, which is kind of
The
convenient.
seedy alley away from prying eyes was a good scene for dark deeds. I needed a new draft of the story.
We're coming very shortly to the out of bounds. I'll show it off once, but I will not be upset if I don't get it. It's just, it's not safe to do in a run. So I'm even contemplating, as I'm doing runs right now, I'm actually just not doing the skip. So I could just nail down everything but this skip until somebody finds an easier lineup for it. Can actually dodge off this ladder.
I needed a new draft of the story. Someone had fallen to their death on the rooftop.
Don't you fucking move, or I'll blow you away.
You got me, Mr. Casey. I'm all yours. Go ahead. Ask that burning question in your mind.
How did you do it? How did you get me into that film clip without my remembering it? Talk to me, damn it!
You've seen the film? Good, good. Now you're ready to meet the Grandmaster. He's waiting for you in the projection booth where everything will be revealed, where he will project a new reality onto this one. And now, Mr. Casey.
If I don't get this, there's another shorter skip that's just pretty easy to do. So it might be nice to show off both.
Bastard! Why did he jump?
We're gonna change the scene to Grandmaster. Normally, you wouldn't change it to Grandmaster because you kind of got to do a whole thing going backwards. But I'm gonna attempt to do the skip. I will make a save, obviously. If I fail it, it's 30 seconds. I don't know why it saved on that one. I don't have a practice save for the subway anymore. Cool. Anyway. We're going to be on top of the cinema right here, and we're going to crawl to the edge and go around the border. And there's a very, very thin ledge that we don't want to, like, fall off of. Okay, so you see how there are pillars? We need to end up on top of that as they're spawning. So I need to be the closest point I can to be at them without them spawning. So that seems to be right. And yeah, it failed. So that's not even the hard part of the skip. So you have to land on those platforms before they spawn, so you end up being elevated higher. And then there's a rougher skip. So I'll just do another version. It's just a lot easier. So normally we'd have to go back, but if we kind of aim right here, we're able to go around the building right here. No, okay. It's a little bit far. Perfect. And this takes us back to the alleyway where we were, as opposed to going, you know, all the way back around. Which is still a pretty cool skip. We're gonna take a wide line here, so we hit the trigger, the door will open if we hit that trigger.
It's nice that you at least have like a half skip or however much it saves compared to the other one.
Because we actually found that second skip was actually one of the I have to dodge here so I don't get grabbed. Please don't do it. Change the Grandmaster. Yeah, that was actually one of the first skips found. So we're just like, oh, we can utilize that. But then someone later found that skip, which saves about, oh my goodness, which saves about 4 minutes. So that skip would actually skip this whole maze section we're about to do. So you're gonna see a lot of repetition here for about 2-3 minutes.
I wasn't alone. I found myself in a maze of film equipment. There had to be a way to the projection booth from here. I was back where I started. A loop within a loop. I had to keep going.
Show yourself! Who was that? Who said that? The Grandmaster, my ass.
The Casey in the story was losing it. I wasn't far behind. I was back at the beginning again. I had to keep going. Find a way to the murder site.
Show yourself! Who was that? Who said that? That's a real clever trick, asshole! You can run, but you can't hide! Grandmaster, my ass! You're a clown in a mask! I'm not the one.
The best time was a 2:40 something, I think.
I was back at the beginning again.
And it can go down to 2:30, low 2:30s.
Casey.
Which in hindsight is not a lot of time in a 2-hour run, but still though, it's something.
What the fuck?
I do want to maintain world record for this with a good run, so it's something I have to take seriously in terms of skips. So right here, you kind of see visions of Coffee World where we played a Saga. That's the tie-in to this chapter.
I was getting close.
So the reason why we want to do maze skip is because this dialogue is about an hour, or not an hour, a minute and a half.
Damn lie. The only place any of this makes any sense is in your.
That's a long dialogue, holy.
An hour-long dialogue.
Character in a story.
Yeah.
To fulfill their purpose.
It's like a Metal Gear Solid dialogue.
You can go.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going anywhere before I get some answers. How was I in that movie? Why does all this feel so familiar? What? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck am I?
No, this is a minute. This is not an hour. If this was an hour, I would not. If this dialogue was an hour, I would not be speedrunning this game.
This is the ritual to lead you on. We're just one step away from your final destination, Mr.
Or you really try to make that other skip work.
There's an unanswered mystery for you.
You know what the funny part is? I could do that skip for an hour, and this might be shorter because of how bad that skip is.
Are you now fictional too? Whose story are you living, Mr. Wake?
The visions are getting under my skin.
We got it at the desk, let the door close,
Not
and
a
then
separate
it's
layer,
different.
but mingling with my own reality.
So the film they're talking about is called Nightless Night, which in Finnish, I'm sorry if I butchered the pronunciation, is Yotanyo.
Dead end.
So that skip would actually take us right here. It would like elevate us into this corner. Where
the mask
I
was the
forgot
key.
that was there. It would, and we grabbed the moose mask. If you recall from earlier during Saga's chapter. So similarly, how the Poets of the Fallen, aka the Old Gods of Asgard, have 2 actual songs that are tied to this video game, there is actually a movie on YouTube called Yotanyo, Nightless Night. You could actually sit in the cinema right now and watch a 20-minute movie right here in Finnish. It's also on YouTube. It is not a very good movie. I have no idea what's going on. It's a lot of freaky cult stuff, so...
I needed a new draft.
There's also something really cool. The fact that they made like a 20-minute actual live motion picture that you can watch in the game and on YouTube.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like the amount of work they put into like being able to give you like that kind of experience where it's like, oh, I can watch a movie in the theater in this game that was made specifically for this.
Yep. And you could tell Sam Lake had fun with it because there's just so much Alex Casey stuff, you know? And I mean, I'm really happy for him. This Alan Wake 2 is just such a great game. And like I said before at the beginning of the run, this Alan Wake 2 is currently on sale on Epic. It is not on Steam right now, but it is on sale. This game is so good. The speedrun, while spoilery, doesn't even cover 20% of the narrative. Please play it. It's a great game. The New Game Plus mode is a different... There are different points to the story as well.
This time. How many writers does it take to finish a story?
A couple of these guys are real. I just hold W and pray.
Same writer, but in a different point in time.
Okay, we're good.
I follow the steps he laid out.
They will also be having 2 DLCs for this game as well. They announced.
I've been
so
here many
looking
times
forward to that.
before. I didn't know how many.
Oh, that's awesome.
This felt different. Like my last chance.
I know this is a meme question in chat, but I'm going to answer it slightly differently. This game is only available on Epic right now.
Yes.
So not Steam, not GOG, not any of the other places that I might not be remembering.
I think Control was similar, wasn't it? I don't think it was available on Steam when it first came out either.
Nobody lived here anymore.
I think Control was like...
I'm pretty sure Control was
exclusive
Epic
for
as
a
well.
few years.
We're gonna skip this cutscene. So I need you guys to remember all the way back what happened to Saga. We were on the shore trying to summon Alan Wake, right? But we couldn't bring Alan. So I'm gonna skip this cutscene, but we're going into the final boss right now. It's just fighting Scratch again. We can't harm him. We have to turn these lights that take a really long time to get to turn. So
That night I found Wake here.
So it turns out Scratch and Alan Wake are the same person. So we are fighting Alan and Scratch at the same time. So we're gonna kind of bait him to come closer.
Fast. Anderson, pin him down with gunfire for me to get the light on him. On it. Damn it. Anderson, we lost power.
Stun him a little bit.
Ready to roll now.
And dodge.
Now at the bed.
The reason why the lights are on a timer, so we can't. The lights that are stunning him right now happen every 20 seconds. So we just need to mini stun him and turn it as much as we can. So we need to do that for one more light, pretty much. So we need to do that one more time.
Back in business.
We kind of pray that we just complete this cycle before he grabs us off it. Nice. I'm gonna let this cutscene play because this is kind of a cool cutscene and it kind of sets up the finale. So this machine's actually gonna split Scratch and Wake.
Sorry.
Wake? Is it you?
So sorry.
So the Dark Presence is out of Wake now. But
Casey?
Casey. Don't let him.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, folks, but it's official. Tear Fest is canceled. Today, Bright Falls feels a little less bright.
so Scratch, the Dark Presence, went into the nearest host body it could find, which unfortunately is Sam Lake. So cool trivia, Saga got teleported to the Dark Place because the Dark Place is the lake is a portal to the Dark Place. So you see Thor and Odin following them into. And they say actually it's kind of an Easter egg, but they say we're going to our next gig, which is kind of weird when you see them entering the water. But what it actually refers to is, you know how they're on the show as the old gods of Asgard for Warren Dorr's show. So that is their next gig. It's implied that they're staying in the Dark Place to just perform.
In Eagle River. The Shadow's now in Alex, and Anderson
It's kind of a cool
is
Easter
gone.
egg.
We need to figure out how to salvage this.
I'll do anything it takes to fix this, Agent Estevez. I'm the reason this is all happening.
It's never that.
Scratch. The Dark Presence inside Casey. It threw Saga into the lake. If she ends
So we're
up in the Dark Place,
approaching
she
the
could
last
be there
15
forever.
minutes of this run.
It took me
The
13
finale.
years to get out. Zane never did.
So Wake is in the real
Tornado
world,
went in after
and
her,
Saga
right?
is in the dream world now. So I
What's
don't
the
know.
situation?
I've never seen an entity break.
Scratch will go to Bright Falls and use the clicker to bring about the horrific ending he wrote for Return. But I can still fix this.
How?
What are we looking
Scratch
on?
must have the
On
name.
Church?
We're at like
The FBI
2:54.
vehicle would be at the parking lot.
Okay, so we'll go a little. I mean, we'll go a little over, but yeah, that's
I'd seen it
all
play
from the
out.
first Out of Bounds.
Like a horror movie I've been forced to
It's
watch.
unfortunate.
The Dark Presence held all the cards now.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
was awake
happens.
again.
It happens.
No
For the
big
first time in
deal.
what felt like a lifetime.
That just
Hopefully
means
the
we
next
get to
time
see
I
more
was
Alan
back
Wake.
exactly where I left.
I haven't submitted. Well,
Dark
this
Forest
run
outside
came out.
Bright
Well,
Falls.
this game came out too late to
Gun in
submit
one
for
hand,
AGDQ,
a
but I
flashlight
do
in the
hope
other.
that they find more
Haunted by my
skips
own writing.
or more
Now
consistent
it's taken from
setups,
me.
so that I'm able to
I knew
submit
what
for
I had to
SGDQ,
do.
which should be pretty cool.
Stop the horror
There's
story from
new
coming
stuff
true.
being found every day. So.
Stop the dark
Oh
presence.
crap! I didn't see him, but he doesn't hurt us good. So. A casual playthrough of this game, 30, 35 hours, I would say. Depends how much you explore. If you like the narrative, it should take you about 30, 35. If you're just completing the story, maybe 20, 25 hours. And like I said, I'm skipping a lot of optional things. So please buy the game, support Remedy, play it. There's a specific spot on the ground we kind of want to aim at as soon as the things spawn. That gets rid of everything.
In the dark place, the dark presence went into me. When I was
So now we're gonna follow Alex
and
Casey
awakened it,
into his world
made it dormant.
and then deal with him
I
there.
couldn't remember what had happened, but I could feel it, getting stronger, waking up. I thought it was hunting me, closing in. It was inside me the whole time, and then it took over. Turned me into scratch.
That way is blocked.
I had to get to Bright Falls.
So where are we gonna fight Scratch? Who knows?
I brought Saga Anderson into
But I
the story
promise
to help me
for you,
escape.
for those of you who have not played that game,
She
it is
succeeded.
not a setting you will
It
expect.
cost her everything. I'd used Alex Casey in my writing for
That big
years.
music plays.
The real Casey had been drawn here because of that. Scratch had brought the dark place here too. Saga, Casey, Alice, all this horror originates from me. It's my fault.
Pardon?
Scratch had to be stopped.
The alternate
I've
reality.
driven down this road before. Been driving on it forever.
The worlds and characters echo each other in
This setting is entirely too bright for 20-ish to 30-ish hours into this game.
This game is very meta in itself. It likes to trick you. But we're gonna find out in this cutscene I'm gonna skip that everyone here loves Alan so much that they want to kill him. So we're gonna run. Because you don't have any weapons here. If you even come close with any of them, it is just an instant death.
I needed to reach the writer's room. Write a new conclusion.
So if you guys recall, this is the nursing home with the hospital. We need to enter the nursing home, but the way is blocked.
What was
There is going to be a forced run section here.
Was this a trap? Or was
And
Scratch
hopefully the
torturing
game
me?
doesn't bug out and I die, but should be okay if I slowly walk into this bit right here. Because I ran into this section full on sprinting, and by the time this thing, Casey had spawned, my character model was already in it, and I just died as soon as this chase section started.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's happened a couple of times. It's one of those things where your character model's still moving during the, the jump scare scream.
Yeah. Which normally works out for you in a speedrun.
Yep. The fun fact, with all the textures that were falling on the wall, because I set my texture or object density to high, one of the objects that fell from the ceiling actually launched me back into Scratch too. And I was just like, oh, well, I'm just dead.
Around and come to
Auntie.
Keter, Tom. I have put everything ready for the visitors.
I'll come to wash the floor of your room next. All you need is water and Vileda. Water is the oldest bulb. Water finds its way.
Not a lot to talk about here. Since it's a narrative,
water
there's just a lot of talking towards the end game.
It takes away. It can be clean or dirty. It can keep life or drown it.
Ahti. I didn't expect to see you here, but it makes sense. Can you help me find my way? One last time.
Now there's a devil in the fist trap. Don't be spooked by it so
From
that
this point
shit
on,
won't
there's
start
only one
making
more
your
section the
hand
game could
defense.
bug out, but it hasn't bugged out for me in a long time. But
I'll get the door open for you, Tom.
so this is the last of Alan's section. We're gonna end. This room is actually his writer's room. Huh? Funny, huh?
I was here. I needed to write the
That
ending.
ties all back.
I only had one chance to get this right. Return's ending was an eternal deer fest that would keep spreading.
We're gonna stand right here, so we're able to interact with an echo. But first, we need to kind of just interact with this plot board until the dialogue prompt happens.
I needed an ending
Okay,
that
there we
took
go.
everything already in Return and extended it into a conclusion that would save us. Only the perfect ending would work. A perfect ending that would save us all. I was the only one who could write it. Everything depended on this. On me. Any second now, Scratch would burst through that door to stop me. Every plot thread tangled in my brain. It suddenly felt impossible. Something stirred in the room, coming to me. An idea. Fit the genre if it's gonna work. The ending has to fit the genre.
So if you guys were watching the Super Mario's Wonder Run, how the runner complained how the last level was a... What are those levels called where it just like forces you to the other side of the screen? What is it called?
Auto-scroller?
An auto-scroller, right?
They were dragged in.
I wish this... Yeah, no. I wish this game added a final boss. I think it would have been really cool if you had to control Saga and Alan, like, live force switch perspectives. We're just waiting on dialogue. But, if you could switch perspectives between them, then you would have to fight a final boss. Saga's final boss
And the hero must
is not fun, but there's so much time lost if you don't do it properly.
The version you just pitched sounds really cool.
Yeah, right? But what do you think Saga's final boss is?
Well, based on the question, I'm gonna say it's an auto-scroller.
It's not, an auto-scroller would be more fun, like a forced run section, right?
Oh no.
My work. It's all gone. What the hell is happening?
The final boss of Saga is a giga mind room with
can't I
like
leave?
50 clues all across the room you have to find.
The dark presence
Oh
took over
my
Casey.
Yes.
god.
But it's one of those things you just lose time because if you don't do it optimally, right?
Failed
Yeah.
who?
So
The boards.
I'm gonna be quiet. This whole bit is just Saga. Oh wait, this whole bit is just Saga realizing I'm a failure, and then she just overcomes that mental barrier and saying, "I am not a failure. I will escape this place." So let's do it quickly,
I'm a terrible mother.
and you guys can kind of infer what's happening.
My daughter die. I'm a failure. This is what I deserve. Scratch took Casey.
Casey was being corrupted and I did nothing. Scratch was Wake. How could I miss that? Casey was hurt. I should have been watching his back. This case. This room. Is any of it even real? Night Springs. Logan and David love that show. Their weekly ritual. I never should have trusted these. What?
Ooh. Now, obviously, you lose time if you have no idea where each clue goes where, right? So, ooh.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm trapped in a nightmare.
I really wish they added a final boss.
No. It was so obvious the Koskela brothers were behind the cult.
This
the
would
cult
be
was just the beginning of the spiral.
really cool
Logan.
leading up to a final boss.
The horror story used her. I spent too much time away from Logan.
So I guess, like, I get that in a sense that they're trying to say that the biggest blocker here was her. Like, her mind was her biggest enemy.
But it's all true.
Which
pretty much
is really cool in any narrative form that isn't a video game.
I need a way
pretty much, yeah.
The lights.
No.
Now we're gonna do it all in the dark. Wow.
Giving up.
Oh God.
Oh, there's
The
the
answers
flashlight.
I need are here somewhere. I just have to look.
I hope you memorized what it looks like, because you don't get to see it anymore.
And now she kind of runs into the positive clues, you know, like, oh, it's like, maybe I'm not such a bad person.
No hugs, no hugs.
Stop blaming yourself, Anderson. A knife in the arm is just part of the job. If you're gonna keep fussing, you can get the hell out. But leave the whiskey.
Alex Casey's me IRL.
Anderson, look, after Brand.
Look at Sam, like he's so happy.
Well, I was in a bad place. You dragging me to those dinners at your house with your family, it really meant a lot. Thank you.
Just calling to say thanks for your note. Oh, sometimes I just get in my head too much.
Yep, that was intentional. So the bad clues, the negative stuff is when she's in the light, but when she has to shine her own light through the dark, it's all the positive comments. So it's kind of an intentional design.
Okay. Talk soon.
I made you a charm bracelet for good luck. I made a matching one for me, so bring me back something cool from Washington.
By this award. Thank you.
That's the last clue we have to find, and now we just have to finish the mine room with all the positive stuff. And then Saga's just like, yeah, I'm leaving. I could have left 5 minutes ago when this room started, but I wasn't mentally prepared to leave. But now she is. Good work, team.
I can't let this place make me question myself. I know what I'm doing.
No idea what I'm doing. No.
Logan isn't anyone's plot device. She's my daughter. And she's... It's not too late. I can It's okay to be afraid.
God damn it.
I've made mistakes.
What the fuck?
The Dark Place tried to trap me here.
Now we just leave. I forgot to show you guys, but over the entire course of the mine room, you could actually watch stuff on TV. You can read stuff. There's a radio. You can listen to all the songs, and there are weapon upgrades. But obviously, for the speedrun, we don't do any of that because it's slow. So we're wrapping up the game within the next 2-3 minutes right here.
The payphone was ringing.
We're now back in the New York scene. Yeah, the ending is very anticlimactic. That's like the one bad thing I would say about this game. I really wanted a final boss fight, but it's still a very great game. The story's still very good, especially the new game plus mode,
Agent
which
Anderson.
changes the ending as well. So it's a lot more satisfying to
Is that
watch.
really you? Sorry, this place likes to play tricks.
Sheriff Breaker? What happened to you? How did you end up in the Dark Place?
I was brought here.
I need to get to Parliament Tower Plaza. Do you have any idea where it is?
This place, it's like trying to find...
Can I see that page, Tim?
Of course. In fact, it's the page I'm gonna keep looking for Door. The closer I get, the closer I feel to waking up. I need to find the man behind the curtain.
Warland Door walked across the rain-slicked tiles of Caldera Street Plaza.
So it's actually implied that
stopped
Warland
the door
Door
in the
is
construction
Saga's
yard.
missing father.
poster for
But
his
I
talk
don't
show
know
owner.
how that
stepped
theory
through.
actually plays out. It's a
Willing
theory I
to
heard
take him to
recently.
Parliament
but
Tower Plaza.
I know what I need
Not
to
really
do.
sure how that theory
The
really
door
plays
to
out.
Parliament Tower Plaza was at the construction yard.
So now we're gonna do the whole game in Saga's perspective. I'm just kidding. It's the last few minutes right here. We're gonna do the whole subway again
I
in
need
Saga's
to get up to the street
perspective.
and find that statue.
Couple of live enemies here. You just you hold W and pray.
There's the shoebox. The clicker. And some kind of bullet. Shining with light. How did the clicker get here from Washington?
What happened to all my guns? That's kind of a bug. Not that we need it, but... So we got the clicker, we got everything we need. We're gonna make one more phone call. And then we're gonna talk to Alan and we'll end the game as soon as we head into the fountain, so...
Okay. I'm in the dark place. Wake is in Washington. I could talk to him in overlaps before. My mind.
If only Saga could communicate
than I ever knew.
with Wake, right? Huh.
I can try to contact him.
If only.
If only she had a tool that wasn't a cell phone.
So there's a problem with the. You don't. So there's a problem with the end. I can't let the horror story take Logan. So the ending. Well, if the ending has to fit. This isn't Scratch's end. The ending will have to be dark.
And timer will end with a 3, 2, 1. And that is Alan Wake 2. Any %. I'm not going to show you the ending scene as it goes.